Great American Landowner. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 388, The Inner Meaning of Zhou. Thinking that the so-called Zhou was talking about plant extracts. Damn, ginseng. Old mountain ginseng is in it, and I don't know how much can be extracted from one ginseng. This precious plant extract, there are other things in it, and the value is not bad. But if you have the time, you might as well eat the ginseng directly. Using this thing that people use to save their lives, just to make women beautiful and have good skin. It's really a waste, too much. Ginseng that has been aged is definitely a rarer source, even rarer than minerals. The current economic development of China is very good, but the aging of people is inevitable. More and more rich people are getting older. These people account for a small proportion of the population of China, which has a population of more than 1 billion. But it can't withstand the large base. With a population base of more than 1 billion, the number of rich people is only a few of them, which is still a lot. Even if only a part of these people need and believe in ginseng, it is still more than 100,000. By comparing the output of ginseng, we can immediately figure out what the market situation is. There is really no market for it. It is too exaggerated to use this thing for beauty treatment, and the cost is too high. After the Zhou family heard the news, they were not surprised. They had also heard about Zhou's ginseng locust team in China. Recently, the price of ginseng in some years in China has increased by dozens of %. This is all the credit of the foreigners who bought ginseng in the Celestial Empire. It's just that this thing is not harmful to ordinary people, but the rich are a little unlucky. Good ginseng has become more difficult to buy. Ginseng buyers who have stocks know that selling to foreigners is not only high in price, but also convenient to collect money, which is more cost effective than selling in the city. Zhou's think tank knows the policy of surrounding the city with the countryside. After the city has developed informants, they will go to the grassroots to develop. To be honest, these don't cost too much manpower. There are only a few places in China that produce ginseng. Just read the guide. Zhou was in trouble in several places abroad. Almost all the ginseng with good quality and good age were sent to him. Anyway, he could sell it to others after selling it. Not only did it provide him with sufficient liquidity for his ginseng business, but it also let people know that he had a lot of good aged ginseng. As for how many, no one could guess. Several pharmacy owners made statistics based on the information they received and roughly concluded that, based on what they knew, these foreigners had invested at least hundreds of millions of dollars. No one could really guess how much goods Zhou had. Zhou secretly shipped goods to some people in need, accumulating money while also gaining the friendship of many people. After all, this thing is not so easy to get. With his current status, he can sell it to you and charge you money, which is giving you face. If you don't remember a favor, it would be unreasonable. The people he sent to the Korean country did the best. Those foreign devils were the best in the Korean country. Almost all the business has been done on the other side. If it weren't for the strict control, they would have wanted to go to the production area to take a look. However, the bribed border officers on both sides would never agree to such an approach. Go in and take a look. They know what kind of personality their little fat man has, so it's better not to go. So they can only trade with the people on the other side of the country under the leadership of these people, and the price is very good. While they feel satisfied, the people on the other side are also very satisfied. In addition to domestic consumption over there, with such a sum of money, it is almost very rich. So, the officers all directly participated in it. The high profits are too tempting. A large number of people who rely on such income have formed a new interest group. They smuggled precious old mountain ginseng at the border, and later they smuggled some wild mountain ginseng, as long as it was a certain age, because Zhou's team also accepted it. The economic development over there is not good, so pollution has not spread everywhere, and the quality of ginseng is also very good. Zhou's team found that after these officers collected the big heads, they also wanted to exchange the small heads for some money. As for how much they could exchange, it was naturally the price given by Zhou's men. It didn't seem to matter how much, as long as they could get the money, it would be the best. According to Zhou's think tank analysis, it is estimated that some of them may have been robbed by these soldiers, but they should all be bloody ginseng. It is too normal for violent agencies to infringe on the interests of the people in the face of interests, let alone in such a country. And after these so-called small heads are transported to the country, the price difference can still make them make a lot of money. Zhou's men calculated this business and found that there was really something to do, not to mention that they didn't mind making things convenient for these officers. As for whether it was a robbery or something else, what did the people over there have to do with him, Zhou? In short, Zhou's men are developing the ginseng business very well at this stage, buying and selling and making money. He also got a lot of ginseng and let outsiders know how much ginseng he had, which made it easier for him to make and sell medicinal incense. He didn't plan to stop doing this project that could bring him over 100 million yuan in income every year. Let's not continue the small talk and get back to the topic above. Speaking of the matter of taking it for testing, those people knew that the raw materials were too expensive and the products were not of equal value. This also made those who had ulterior motives give up their plans. No wonder they didn't plan to mass produce it. It was not cost effective at all, and they would face the risk of running out of raw materials after the products were made. Ginseng that was not old enough did not have this effect at all. This also made people sigh that Zhou, a biologist, was indeed a more commercial person. As long as he continued his research, he might be able to get a good product, or he might be able to get the effect of reducing the first reading from ordinary ginseng. But people felt that the profit was not big enough at first glance, so he gave up immediately, and the biologist who helped with the test had to say it was a pity. The people who took it for testing could only secretly roll their eyes in their hearts. Without enough profit, a rich man might as well do other projects. As for spending so much time to study this, so, except for women, men don't like this thing very much. Of course, except for my wife. When she was in the boudoir at night, my wife's skin became tighter and her lower body was more moist. For a while, Mother Zhou was really troubled. There were not many things, but many people wanted them. Even the future Emperor Gaozang, who had been determined to take over the position, received the news because of his good relationship with the women of the Zhou family. She also took a bite from Aunt Zhou and took it back. After the security personnel around her checked and said there was no problem, she also took a bite. The effect was really good. Some of the old problems accumulated in the body when she was in the art troupe before felt much better. Mother Zhou was really annoyed now. The lady also asked through her relationship whether she could take it evenly on her hand. This is because Mother Zhou changed Zhou's words that taking 2 pills a day would be the best effect to 1 pill a day. She took 1 pill a day herself, not to mention the ones that were evenly distributed. Well, who told the Zhou family to stand on the side of the Zhang family? Even if they didn't stand for this issue, the relationship between the two families was still good. But if they weren't the successors, Zhou's mother wouldn't have shown any sincerity. She even gave her relatives a small bottle, not even the size of a perfume bottle, and she gave them that small bottle with heartache. Now it's going to be given to Mrs. Zhang, so it has to be upgraded, right? She could only take out a bottle of the original one, but it's impossible to give it all to her. I don't know how long it can last. She can't count the exact number of pills, but it looks like 2 pills a day, and it's estimated that 1 bottle can last for 1 or 2 years. This is still calculated for 2 people. In fact, Zhou seemed to see something here. If 2 people eat it, it's estimated that it can last about 5 years. This number has some meaning. She doesn't know if she is just imagining it, or if Zhou puts meaning in it. Maybe impossible. Before getting his affirmation, it is not the final answer at all. In fact, the girls' association is very simple. The biggest harm to women is time and years. Time can make women start to have wrinkles, their skin becomes loose, and the cells and internal organs of the body will further age. And she seemed to understand why Zhou gave this thing. Later, she got the analysis of some of the components of these granules from the people who took them for testing and Mrs. Zhang. They further understood that these were the essences extracted from precious raw materials. After strict proportioning and adding some things that they could not detect, this kind of granules was achieved. In fact, the doctors who served the leaders said that this granule was red like the healthcare product formula used by the ladies in the imperial family of the Celestial Empire. It's just that many improvements have been made to people. In terms of the pharmaceutical process and production, the process of making pills is more scientific and rigorous. The effect is really much better than in ancient times. There are also great improvements in medicinal properties and value. According to the old doctor, this thing would not have the current effect without a few 100-year-old ginseng as the main ingredient, plus other wild Ganoderma lucidum from previous years, saffron native to Greece, Wildgast rhodia relata, Polygonitum sibiricum, Polygonum multiflorum from previous years, and some things they can't distinguish. So it's really a waste and a pity to use these very precious medicinal plants to make this. Chapter 839 Going to Zhanhai. Of course, this was ignored by the woman. In the eyes of women, health and appearance are the most important. Point 3x Point Q being able to ensure one's health, while also ensuring one's appearance is really the best and most worthwhile thing. As for the medicinal materials that are related to human life, please, appearance is the lifeblood of our sister. Without it, it would be better to take our lives. As for Zhou, she now also believes in what she thinks. Perhaps this is what Zhao Jixi expressed. However, she did not intend to ask about this matter. She did not mean to tie Zhao Jixi to death. If she met a suitable person who was also moved by her, she could say goodbye to Zhao Jixi. It's just that there is no suitable one now. Waiting for him is also a good choice. No one in this world will waste their most precious time for anyone for no reason. She is no exception. Zhao Jixi did not expect that the next week or two would bring a lot of things to the Zhou family. But later, she didn't feel anything when she knew it. At least it was all good, wasn't it? The most important thing is that the Zhou family is following the future clan, and the future is limitless. After getting rid of Zhou, Zhao Jixi didn't want to stay in the capital anymore. He had to go to Shanghai, otherwise it would be troublesome if he was caught by someone. The next morning, he took the earliest flight from the capital to Shanghai. He didn't inform the third and fourth sisters. At this time, he should watch the concert first. Otherwise, his behavior with several girls will definitely make the two of them think about it, especially the third sister. I don't know if it's because of early menopause, but his temper seems not very good recently. Because of business problems, there is an office of his investment institution in Shanghai, but he didn't find them. He found people from the Korean Greenland company. Their Hay branch's car, plus renting a few business cars, must have some pomp and circumstance to come and pick him up. Yang King and Zhu Lily, the two little lovers, are now dressed as professional white-collar workers. Zhao Jixi was eager to see them when he left the airport. I was a bit stupid when I was so obsessed with 6, but compared to these two considerate little people, it was probably worth it. The two girls diligently got Zhao Jixi into the car, with the bodyguard sitting in the front and the 3 people in the back. Zhao Jixi touched the thighs of the 2 girls through their pants, and Zhu Lily was so coquettish that she rubbed her vagina against him. Lily, it seems to have grown a bit bigger recently. Really? Zhu Lily said in surprise. Fake. Zhao Jixi reached out and patted her butt. Hate it. Why are you like this? I'm so nervous because you teased me. Hate it. Zhu Lily started to act coquettishly again, and Yang King's somewhat cold face began to become ridiculous. Aren't you from the north? Why are you imitating the little woman of the sea? Zhao Jixi himself got goosebumps all over his body. Don't the people of the sea say that women who act like a spoiled child have the worst fate? Okay, get back to normal. He quickly interrupted this woman who obviously didn't have much brains. Speak human language. The way you act like a spoiled child immediately lowers your status, like a green tea bitch. Oh. Zhu Lily did not dare to refute. She didn't agree in her heart. If she hadn't met Zhao Jixi before, she might have continued to be a bitch. Since the sponsor didn't like it, she had to change her way of acting like a spoiled child. King, how is the company doing recently? Zhao Jixi asked. Our Greenland company has placed several advertisements in the sea and has also carried out publicity and promotion, and the overall effect has been very good. Many wealthy families in the sea have purchased houses in our seaside apartments. And the travel agency we have developed has now opened not only routes to Jeju Island, but also other areas in South Korea. The development of this aspect is very good, which surprised the head office. Wow, it really is. I'm also quite surprised. Zhou Jixi said, hey, do you know why? We estimated that compared with domestic travel in China, even to the South China Sea Islands, Jeju Island in South Korea is still very advantageous in terms of price and service. In addition, there are many tourists visiting tourist attractions in China, and the service attitude in some places is not good. Tourists are often ripped off by businesses and a series of other problems have arisen. This makes our Greenland tourism appear to have more advantages. The head office wanted to open a travel company in the beginning to promote its own seaside holiday apartments because idleness is equal to waste, and waste is the greatest blasphemy to capital. Zhou Jixi looked at his little lover with some surprise. He was a man who was willing to make progress. He nodded with satisfaction and said, well, King is right, go on. When our company started doing tourism, the price was not very high, but the service requirements were very high. After all, we were providing services for the seaside apartments of real estate companies, and the head office had strict service requirements. These requirements have brought unexpected gains to the company. The good service attitude and travel experience have helped our company establish a good reputation among old customers, and our travel company's performance has been getting better and better. The travel company's performance is good, so we supplement it with the holiday apartments. Then we create profits for the head office. A virtuous cycle will only make things better and better. And this matter, it seems that the brother's character is really strong. Zhou Jixi said in surprise. Jess, your character has always been strong. Zhu Lily really had a headache when she read this brain stimulating thing, and this reading was different from Yang King. The audience we are targeting at the beginning is the high income class. This kind of people have enough vacation time and financial ability every year. The surplus class has enough money. If they like the travel, they will also buy a vacation apartment. After all, it is very convenient to travel between the two places. Okay King, you said it very well. It seems that you work hard. Zhou Jixi patted her thigh, indicating that there was no need to say more. I'm very pleased that you can make progress. I will reward you later. Hate. Yang King felt the heat in her ears, and with Zhou Jixi's moving hands, she knew what he meant. Now you say you hate it, I will let you like it later. Zhou Jixi said with a smile. The car drove to the apartment where they lived. It was a large 3-bedroom and 2 living room, close to the city center, and you could see the Pearl River and the river every day. The rent alone was more than 7,000 yuan a month, but it was all paid by him. The two girls used their wages to spend their daily lives. Chapter 840, the two women supported by Zhang He. The security facilities at the entrance of this community looked pretty good. You could see the security guards patrolling. Their uniforms were not loose and looked pretty neat. There were some necessary things for everyone entering and leaving the community, which also prevented many people with ulterior motives from approaching the community. Those who went in to repair the water pipes, repair the wires, and deliver water needed to confirm with the landlord, because these things could only be done when the landlord was at home. Zhou Jixi was quite optimistic about these security guards, but as soon as he heard them talking, he knew that they were just for show and should be migrant workers. As for the retired soldiers, they didn't look like them from the way they stood. It was obvious that they were trained as amateurs. It was quite cost effective for Zhou Jixi to support these two little lovers. Other people would have to buy clothes, bags, and shoes from time to time, and it was normal to spend hundreds of thousands of yuan. He was not as happy as him. He only spent tens of thousands of yuan a month on these two girls. The two girls were grateful to him. Compared with those rich people who had mistresses, Zhou Jixi really felt like he had read asterisk and exploded. Bodyguards stood guard outside the door, and Zhou Jixi and the other two entered the house. The others rested in the nearby hotels, which were not far away anyway. The two girls each had a bedroom, and there was another room converted into a sports room, with a treadmill, a ball, a yoga mat, etc., and a comfortable large sofa, several speakers and projectors and other equipment. Zhao Jixi walked around the room and asked, "What are you doing?" "I can exercise and keep fit at ordinary times, and I can sing karaoke when I want, watch movies and so on. It's very comfortable." Zhu Lily took Zhao Jixi's hand, almost leaning against him, and said beside him, "Isn't it more fun to play outside than at home?" he asked in confusion. As he said that, he walked to the sofa and sat down. Zhu Lily walked behind him attentively, let him rest his head on her chest, and massaged him with her hands. King said that, "Since we follow you, we should go to those nightclubs and bars outside less often. Isn't it good to play at home?" Yang King had already poured a cup of warm coffee. She knew that Zhao Jixi liked to drink coffee, and she always had some high quality coffee beans at home. Zhao Jixi raised his foot and put it on the coffee table in front of him, but it seemed that he bumped into something. When he opened his eyes, he saw several batteries falling to the ground. "Why did you put so many number 4 batteries on this?" Zhu Lily looked at it and suddenly looked a little strange. Yang King, who was holding a cup of coffee in her hand, also put down her feet and threw all the batteries into the trash can. "Batteries are used for use, what else can they do?" Yang King explained in a panic. Zhao Jixi was just a little strange, but he didn't care too much about it. Yang King cleaned up quickly, then got up and put down the coffee. She sat next to Zhao Jixi's sofa, resting her head on his chest and touching his solid muscles with her palms. She said faintly, "You haven't come to see us for so long. I thought you forgot about us." "How can it be? There are a lot of things in the United States, and I'm busy running around. When I returned to China, I came to see you as soon as I arrived in the sea," Zhao Jixi said, tightening Yang King's shoulder with his right hand, letting it lean against him more tightly. Zhu Lily, the woman, was happy to hear that, and she sipped at his right ear. Zhao Jixi enjoyed it for a while, and then said, "You guys should have your own lives too. I don't object to this. I rarely go back to China now, and you have to make plans for yourself. You've been with me for a while, and now you're accumulating work experience and connections in the company, so that you can find a good job when you live on your own in the future. After all, following me is not a long-term solution. Jess, I just want to follow you." Zhu Lily stopped, shook her chest coquettishly, and rubbed Zhao Jixi's head. This character will hurt you in the future," Zhao Jixi said. "Learn more from King. It's a good thing to be more positive." Zhu Lily quickly said, King's figure is not good, so she needs to supplement her brain. "I have such a curvy figure, so I don't need to supplement my brain anymore." It can be seen that this is a thoughtless statement. You really need to use your brain more, Zhao Jixi said helplessly. "You don't have a good figure. What's wrong with me? Tell me." Yang King was not happy. "My breasts are bigger than yours, and my hips are bigger and fuller than yours." Well, seeing her confident look, both of them were speechless. "I have a golden figure, and you are a little fat. I'm firm and tight, and it feels much better to pinch than you, smooth and tender, and you were reluctant to let go last time." Yang King looked at her and said, "How could I not have that?" Zhu Lily retorted, "You did have that. Last time when we were using the electric device together, you touched mine, and I touched yours. In the end, you were so excited, but you still touched mine, and refused to let go. In the end, you even liked it, and sucked it a few times. You still say you didn't have that?" Zhu Lily's face panicked, and she stood up immediately. This time, the back of Zhao Jixi's head, without support, immediately hit the sofa. It didn't hurt, but it was a shock. The woman looked at Yang King and said, "How? Didn't you say you wouldn't tell me? Why did you tell me? How could I? You started it first." "I didn't mean to do it." Zhao Jixi was already full of black lines on his head. "These two women, you guys also play video games? Wow, I'm really impressed. We just. By the way, it was only Zhu Lily who played it first, and then she asked me to try it too," Yang King said. "Fuck, you are blaming me, Yang King. You are too much. Did you buy the ricochet first, and I bought the vibrator later?" I don't know if these two women did it on purpose. Why did they change the topic so quickly? What he wanted to talk about just now was not the body shape issue. He didn't want to talk about vibrators and egg vibrators or something like that. What he wanted to say was that if you want to have a boyfriend, he can agree to it. Let's part ways in peace. He doesn't have much time to see them. The idea of keeping a mistress was just an accident. Now I regret it. Is it okay? Okay. Stop making trouble. Zhao stopped the two people. Sit down. I'll take a rest. I just got off the plane. Can't you be quiet for a while? Zhu Lily sat down on his left side, licked her lips, and looked at Zhao with a seductive look, saying maybe not. Wow. Hiss. Zhao trembled all over, and her little brother was grabbed through his pants, and two fingers were teasing his balls. Yang King also attacked from the right side. It's been a long time since we did it. We miss you so much, she said in his ear, kissing his neck and sucking. A plump and round vagina and a tight and perky vagina. Two different enjoyments. Zhao slapped that one, and then slapped that one. Then lying on the bed, the two women took turns to move up and down for him, and sucked one of the little white rabbits in their mouths. Oh, no, it was a big white rabbit. After a lot of exercise, it was noon. The three of them were lying on the bed. Zhao took the cigarette that Yang King had helped to read, took a puff, and gave it back to her. She also took a puff, and gave it to Zhu Lily. The three of them cycled like this, enjoying the afterglow of the sex. We agreed on 2 years, so we can talk about those things after 2 years, okay? Yang King said pitifully. Yes. Jixi, don't think about leaving us. Zhu Lily also said. You two are so smart, and you are not young anymore. If you don't make a plan, I will hurt you. He said in the smoke. But I don't have that plan now. I still want to study more, so how can I have time to look for other men? Yang King said. I also need beauty and fitness. Zhu Lily followed suit. Zhao was silent for a while before saying, you should think about this matter yourself. Life is long, but also short. Don't do things that will make you regret. He stopped talking and didn't intend to continue this topic. Meeting is fate, and they can talk about this 2 years later. Besides, Greenland's Shiacheo branch also needs them to keep an eye on it, which is quite useful. In the afternoon, Yang King went to cook a pot of noodles. Zhao tried the taste, and it was okay. The two girls were full after eating one bowl, and he took the bowl of soup and ate 2 bowls. After sucking the last noodle, he burped with satisfaction. Have you booked the tickets for Girls' Generation's concert? Yes, the front tickets. We bought several tickets. Several Korean employees in the company also like them very much, so we bought several tickets together. Zhu Lily said. He nodded. Then get dressed, and we'll go out for a walk in the afternoon. Where are we going? Zhu Lily asked. You brought so many questions. Are you going or not? Zhao frowned and patted her asterisk. Go. Zhu Lily touched her buttocks. Isn't it just a question? You are the one who talks too much. Now you are being beaten. Yang King was dressed in a cool outfit, wearing a thigh-length pajamas, and 2 small fingers could be seen on her body. Now she was cleaning the table and teasing her. Hateful. Zhu Lily rolled her eyes at Yang King. It took a lot of time for several people to clean up. Sometimes men waste more time than women. Zhao took a long time to take a shower and change clothes, but the 2 women were very fast in putting on makeup, choosing clothes, etc. They all put on makeup, but Zhao was still taking care of a few strands of hair. Feeling the 2 pairs of resentful eyes behind him, Zhao put down his hand teasing his hair and said, haha, I'm waiting for you. Who knew I was so fast? Okay, let's go. This time Zhao was going to visit the fat brother who was under house arrest for a few days when he went to Kokang area last time, and another person whose name he couldn't remember. The main thing is that the person's presence is really low. Fat brother is a fat guy with a broad stature, and he is really easy to remember. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 841. It's normal to be bullied in elementary school. It has been several months Since the mercenaries did their work in the Cochin Special Zone, now the company can also develop a lot of business in Asia. The security company has signed a lot of new employees and can also have work. Even if the military department does not count that income, it is estimated that the fiscal deficit will be again //X. Frank has also worked hard to expand the company's business, and the security work is still effective. The military department is already a project he has restudied and developed. After several retired generals in the US military take up the position of senior consultants, they can receive some military orders, so that the company will not let so many people idle. That is a daily salary. If you don't go out to make money, even if the military department does make a lot of money in the first installment, it can't withstand a few years of consumption. Frank was also looked up to by his family because he became the CEO of this company. The US military intelligence department is indeed not a vegetarian. It was vaguely concluded that this matter was controlled by the shadow of the Blue Sky security shield. Frank's father and brother also suspected that this was the work of their younger brother. The two of them had a great change in his sissy appearance. Although there are some differences in appearance and temperament, they still look like a family in terms of the way they do things. This makes Frank's father, who is a general in the US military, very pleased. His son is indeed a little effeminate, but he is still very manly in nature. And now it seems that the company he works for is also very good. He also notes that this company has some influence among nations. As for the matter in Cochin this time, it is related to the US Internal Revenue Service. As for the US military, looking at the senior consultants of their company, it is obvious that they have nothing to do with the US military. The matter in Cochin has been resisted by the rebels. The Peng family dares to be angry, but dares not speak out about what the Blue Sky Security Shield company has done in the Cochin Special Zone. When Wu Xiu left, he specially showed the Peng family a video of missile from the French *** fire company, which can accurately strike at a long distance. The price is $5 million for 2 missiles, which are bound for sale and not sold. A technician is also included to guarantee that he will teach you how to shoot missiles. As long as this thing is shipped on a ship, it is estimated that it will not be so easy to intercept it according to the defense system of small countries in Asia. Not to mention the Cochin region. There are still 10 million missiles behind, which are more powerful than that one. I hope the Peng family will think about it carefully. Their company is not easy to mess with. Their boss is even more not easy to mess with. He is also a very influential figure in American politics, so even if they intend to accuse someone internationally, they will not get the support of the US government. The Peng family can only regard it as a farewell. They have to swallow this matter, no matter how bitter it is. Besides, they have completed the contents stipulated in the contract very well. I and others have the right to rule the Cochin Special Region, so how can I feel bitter? If these people were not too enthusiastic about the robbery, maybe everyone could still have fun in the future, right? It's just that Myanmar has some doubts about this matter. After all, the rebels can't handle the bodies so cleanly. It's really too clean. But recently, the Kachin people and the rebels, I don't know what happened, and they contacted several international arms dealers again. These arms dealers also sold a batch of unsold goods to the Kachin people and the rebels at a very low price. Is this still a joke? There are also unsold arms? Let's not talk about these problems for now. After those people got a lot of arms, they started to play with them again. Those poor rebels must have robbed a lot of jade to buy arms. Otherwise, even if it was discounted, they couldn't afford it. The Myanmar military has already blamed the rebels for the incident, and the rebels have admitted that they did it. As for what happened in the meantime, a rebel accused a certain rebel of bragging, and said that the other party had no ability to do these things. After a while, the rebel camp that said this was bloodbathed. The accused once stood up and said that they did it, that the other rebels were corrupt and had surrendered to the government army secretly and were the biggest traitors to the great cause of resistance. Well, this time, these rebels who are also part-time robbers are really so good for the first time. Anyway, in the end, the rebels in northern Myanmar kinda learned the good habit of enjoying the benefits and keeping silent. Zhou has a batch of goods in the warehouse in Hay area. His men robbed a batch of goods there. At the beginning, they sealed it in hay through the relationship of Fatty, waiting to sell it after the news passed, or transport it back to the United States to collect it, and wait for it to appreciate in value, before disposing of it. But it is estimated that it will be sold. This was planned at the beginning. Fatty also worked hard, how could he not give him a benefit? Giving money directly seems cliched, and Zhou is not willing to do it. It is better to sell him a batch of goods, so that everyone is happy. Zhou told the driver the location, and this time it was already scheduled. It was considered that he was hosting a banquet. Last time, he said that he would apologize when they met. Although it was delicious, he still locked people up for a few days. The car drove to a high-end hotel in Hay. After his bodyguard helped open the door, he got out. The two girls followed obediently behind them, and there were two female assistants following behind them. There was Raymond beside him, two bodyguards in front, and several bodyguards behind the group of people. Zhou, one of the owners of this hotel, also knew him, and had been waiting outside for a long time. There were also several subordinates around him. When they saw him get off the car, they immediately came over enthusiastically. "Brother Jess, I haven't seen you for a while. You look more imposing than before." The man was in his 30s, wearing a pair of silver-rimmed glasses. Although he was wearing a suit, he had two buttons open at the collar and no tie. The jade pendant hanging inside was still exposed at the corners, and the whole person looked a little exaggerated. Zhou gave him a hug. "Brother, I feel embarrassed for your praise. After all, we have been on the news recently, so we have to show our imposing manner, right?" He also laughed and said. The subordinates following this man didn't see the boss very often. Some people looked at Zhou's face and became more and more familiar with it. People with good memory immediately remembered who this face was. "Isn't this the billionaire Zhou? I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it. Our country bumpkin boss is actually friends with others. Such a noble man is friends with such a country bumpkin? I really didn't expect it when I read it." Chapter 842, Wine Party. Regardless of what the hotel staff thought, Zhou greeted the man enthusiastically. "Ex-com brother, hey, you are really too polite. I can't stand it." Zhou was indeed enthusiastic to this guy, which made some people feel uneasy. What's so unbearable about that? We are brothers. If we talk too much, it will be strange. Brother Hay said. Zhou could only say in his heart, "We are not that familiar with each other. We have only had a few drinks together. In the category of friends, we are still the lowest level of drinking and eating friends. These two have become brothers. This pole climbing is really unusual. It's just calling him brother. He calls most of the older ones like that. This guy's really good at climbing poles." After entering the box, the two sat down. There were also a few waiters in the box, and a girl sitting over there making tea. After the girl played a lot of tricks, she poured out a few cups of tea. Zhou took it and asked. It smelled really good. He took a sip and his mouth was full of fragrance. "When will you guys come?" Zhou looked at his watch. He came early today. He was the host, so he had to come early to welcome the guests. "I just called, and they are on the way. There seems to be a car accident on the road over there, and it is still blocked there." Hey Jess said. "Oh." Zhou nodded and said, "This tea is good. Drink it again." He made an invitation gesture. "Haha. That's great." Hey Jen also laughed. The two of them were tasting tea. Several cars came outside the hotel one after another. Several people in their 20s and 30s greeted each other and went to the elevator. "It's on the 5th floor. Brother Jeeks' seat over there, the box that Brother Hay specially reserved. Didn't you come last time?" The person who went in was still talking to his friend on the phone. "That kid is a confused ghost. I don't know how he went out with such a poor memory." The person who hung up the phone smiled at his friend. Several people were old friends, and everyone knew what was going on. They also started chatting with laughter. One advantage of friends is that no matter what you want to talk about, everyone is very interested in chatting. Even if the conversation goes off topic and has nothing to do with what you said, you can still chat happily. After several people came out of the asterisk elevator, they saw several giant bodyguards standing outside. One of them was holding a tablet and looking at something, looking at them one by one. The look in his eyes made several people feel a little bit uneasy, but they didn't dare to show it. They knew a little about what Zhou bodyguards did. When the fat man and others who followed him came back, they said something. They were people who treated murder and robbery as legal business. Let's not talk about anything else. Fatty vividly described a power struggle in the Congo Special Zone. A large number of people were shot dead by the Yang family. Even these children who played with others would jump out and beat people up or seriously kill someone. But they would never do what Zhou's men did, treating killing as a job and eating and drinking as usual after doing it. These mercenaries coming down from the battlefield are really more terrifying than the gangsters. Are they from the Blue Sky Company? A young dandy asked the big brother next to him. Well, do you see the blue shield logo on them? Yes. People from Jess's company have this logo. The young man swallowed and said, oh, okay, stop looking at them. They won't do this to you. Look at you like this. The young man shook his head and said, no, I'm thinking about hiring a few too. This giant makes people feel safe. Brother Jess is awesome. This business not only guarantees his own safety, but also gives him face when he goes out. Awesome. Several people were chatting and talking, and they had already reached the door of the box. What's so awesome? Zhou pushed the door open and greeted the guests as the host, and happened to hear the little brother talking about him. Brother Jess. Jess. Oh, Jess. Why did Jess come out? We are so familiar with each other, but still have to greet each other. It's so strange. So strange. Ah. Zhou took 2 steps forward, patted a 30-year-old man he had a good relationship with and said, no, brothers, don't be so strange. I've been to Hay several times, and you guys always hosted. This time, I'll be the host, so I can apologize to Fatty and Easy. I'll be the host. Whoever of you wants to pay the bill again later, I'll be angry. Haha. Jess, what you said makes you, us brothers really dare not pay the bill for you. Yeah, Jess, sometimes we have to show the magnanimity of us Hay men, right? TV always shows us sissy boys. We can't do that here, or we'll be misunderstood. Haha. Several people started laughing at the door. How can that be? Zhou said, and then pulled this one, and hugged that one. Okay, brothers, go in first. Don't just stand at the door and chat. Yes, that's true. Let's go in and talk. Brothers, stop standing and laughing. Move. Hey Jen also said beside them. After several people walked in, the waiter brought a cup of tea made by the tea girl over there to several people and took a sip to relieve their thirst. Get a cup of coke for Zhou. This kid is not used to drinking tea. Zhou said as he entertained. Thank you, brother Jixi. The man who just called said with a smile. My own brother. Zhou waved his hand. By the way, Zhou, didn't you say last time that you hooked up with a girl from Hey Drama Academy? How about it? Did you hook up with her after I left? No, this girl is also a smart one. She won't show off until she sees a rabbit. I'm not in the entertainment industry, so it doesn't matter if I follow her. Well, I can't get her with money. It really makes me angry. Zhou said depressedly. Women have become smarter these days. If it's their first time, they have to find a heavyweight. You are an unreliable person. You can't be her boyfriend. So no matter how rich you are, you can't give her money. And you don't have any connections in the entertainment industry, so it's strange that she would like you. Brother Hay interrupted. Well, it's a pity. Zhou also smiled. I don't have the ability of Brother Jixi. If I had, it wouldn't be easy for anyone. Brother Jixi, you have won 2 Best Actress awards, right? I'm really impressed by you. Zhou said with envy. Zhou is also a boaster. He said whatever he wanted. This is nothing. I'll get you an Oscar later. Brother, it seems that there are not many young Oscar winners, right? Skip this. I guess there are some beautiful ones. Zhou didn't know how many Oscar winners there were, but it seemed that there were not many young people who could win this award. Haha. Brother Jeezy, this isn't the first time that you've been stalking an old man. It's okay. Jess is such a queen. It's great to be young now. Brother Hay also said. If you get to Brother Hay's age, then if you want a queen, it's probably only an auntie. As soon as this was said, everyone laughed, looking at Brother Hey, and then at Zhou. The age of the two people, and the women they want to pick up, formed a very interesting contrast. That's absolutely true. As everyone chatted, a hotel staff member next to Brother Hey said something. He turned around and said, "Jess, Fatty and the others are here." "Oh." Zhou responded and stood up. "Brothers, chat first, let me go out and take a look." After saying hello, he walked out and greeted his guests like he did just now. The hotel waiter helped to open the door and he walked out. The elevator in front of him happened to arrive here, and when the elevator door opened, it was Fatty and the man who came with him. The three of them greeted each other as soon as they met. "Fat brother, I have to apologize for what happened last time," Zhou said, holding his hand. "It's okay, it's really okay. Brother, if it weren't for you, I might have to suffer. How could I have lived a few days with good food and drink? Look at the other people at that time. They all slept on the floor and had ordinary food, which was just enough to fill their stomachs. Brother, I'm very grateful to you." Fat brother said seriously. "No, this is really my fault. I have to apologize," Zhou said bluntly. "Don't apologize. If you really feel uncomfortable, accompany me for a few more drinks later, and we will let this matter pass, okay?" Fatty was really afraid that Zhou would continue to apologize. He really couldn't bear Zhou's apology. Zhou also became relaxed and said directly, "It's just drinking. I won't say anything else, just drinking. None of you have ever defeated me, right?" The fat man recalled that Zhou, a big-bellied man, was really not boastful about his drinking ability. He had many practical experiences and told him that Zhou was the best when he drank. Well, he still spoke according to the usual template, but he forgot that Zhou was very good at drinking. "Haha, then let's just do it simply this time. You drink those guys down and avoid the fat brother for a while, and I will be fine soon. Okay? I promise to defeat them and leave you alone. Jess, there's me. Oh, right. Leave you two alone, too." This person's presence was really low, and he just said it with a laugh, and actually didn't care much about what this person meant. Zhou put his arm around their shoulders and walked in. "Fatty, you are late today. You have to drink a few more cups with me later," Brother Hey said with a smile. "Okay, drink. I have to drink more today." The fat man has never been afraid of drinking. He found a seat and sat down and said generously. "Generous," said Brother Hey. Chapter 843, Friends. Zhou also returned to the main seat and sat down. "Waiter, serve the food." "Yes, sir." The waitress nodded immediately, then she tucked the folder in her hand and walked out with her curvy little butt. .23x. Then he turned back to look at the fat man and asked, "By the way, fat brother, what happened to your hand?" He said that he just saw a scratch on the fat man's arm, so he asked, "What bad luck? Why am I late?" "It's because of this," the fat man said and became depressed. "Oh. Tell me, what's the matter?" Everyone also asked with a puzzled look on their faces. "Just now, two cars in front of me collided on the road. I was passing by and suffered an unexpected disaster. I brushed against another car, and the iron piece just happened to break the glass and scratched my hand," the fat man said depressedly. "The hateful thing about chasing them is that the person who was hit actually dared to blackmail me. I really don't know how to write death. It's obviously my own fault. Because she is the victim of the incident, she even wants someone to compensate her. Brother didn't pay any attention to her and called the lawyer directly. This matter is not over," the fat man said viciously. If he hadn't considered his father, he would have wanted to slap him. But these days, people do things and God sees them. Especially mobile phones are still taking pictures, so it's better to deal with things according to procedures. In an international city like Shanghai, you should be careful in everything and don't let such a small thing give people a handle, otherwise it will seem stupid. It's okay that it was delayed by this matter. The most important thing is that people are safe. Zhou comforted. As the few people were talking, exquisite dishes were served, and everyone opened the liquor, the Noble Collection edition of Wu Liangai, and several people placed a small cup in front of them. The main purpose of holding the wine today is to apologize to Brother Pang. What I did was not authentic to begin with, and I held the wine after a period of time had passed. This is already a mistake on top of a mistake. Without further ado, I'll drink the penalty first, Zhou said as he drank it in one gulp, and then continued to drink. But, Jess is generous. Fat Brother clapped his hands and said, to be honest, brother, I have never been angry, really, Jess. That kind of situation is small, and brother's treatment over there is definitely like this. While speaking, Fat Brother also raised his thumb. Zhou also returned to the main seat and sat down. Waiter, please serve the food. Yes, sir. Then he turned back to look at Fatty and asked, by the way, Fatty, what happened to your hand? He said that he just happened to see a scratch on Fatty's arm, so he asked, what bad luck, why am I late? That's why, the fat man said, and he became depressed. Oh. Tell me, what happened? Everyone also asked with a puzzled look. Just now, two cars in front of us collided on the road. I was passing by and suffered an unexpected disaster. I brushed against another car, and the iron piece just happened to break the glass and scratched my hand. The fat man said depressedly. The hateful thing about chasing them is that the person who was hit actually dared to blackmail me. I really don't know how to write death. It's obviously my own fault. Because she is the victim of the incident, she actually wants someone to compensate her. Brother didn't pay any attention to her and called the lawyer directly. This matter is not over, the fat man said viciously. If he hadn't considered his father, he would have wanted to slap him. But these days, people do things and God sees. Especially mobile phones are still taking pictures, so it's better to deal with things according to procedures. Especially in an international city like Shanghai. Be careful in everything, and don't let such a small thing give people a handle, which will make you look stupid. It's okay that it was delayed by this matter. The most important thing is that no one is hurt. Zhou comforted. While they were talking, exquisite dishes were served one after another, and everyone opened the white wine, the noble collector's edition of Wuliangai, and several people placed a small cup in front of them. The main purpose of holding the wine today is to apologize to Brother Pang. What I did was not authentic, and I held the wine after a period of time. This is already a mistake on top of a mistake. Without further ado, I'll drink the penalty first, Zhou said, and drank it in one gulp, and then made another round. But, Jess is generous. Brother Pang clapped his hands and said, to be honest, I have never been angry, really, Jess. That kind of situation is small, and the treatment you get over there is definitely like this. While speaking, Brother Pang also raised his thumb. While those people were drinking porridge and eating sausages, I was eating fish and meat and drinking wine. At night, they had sheets on the floor, and I and two beautiful girls helped warm the bed. It was like playing in a hotel for a few days. How could I feel wronged? As the fat man spoke, he looked at his friends at the table with an excited look. Jess was so generous just now. He just drank a cup in one gulp without blinking. I don't have any complaints, but even if I did, they would have disappeared long ago. I'm not as good as you. I'll drink 3 cups in return. I'll drink 3 cups too. The man with a low sense of presence also said passionately. Okay, Fatty is awesome. Everyone was like the Liangshan heroes, drinking without restraint. Now their enthusiasm was like that of a gangster. The gentlemanly manners of the past disappeared, and more people ate food and drank wine in big mouthfuls. Drinking 1 cup at a time without even sipping it was the way to drink today. This meal was the happiest one for these people. They chatted and drank, slapped the table when they were happy, and slapped the table when they were unhappy. When they felt like it, they put the food in their mouths or drank a glass of wine. Everyone suddenly felt that they seemed to have changed. They used to be friends, but now they can communicate more deeply and even tell each other some of their inner thoughts. Of course, these are all later stories, almost all of which happened after everyone woke up from the drunkenness this time. After eating and drinking, they just wanted to go out and have fun. Hayes' group of people are all old players, and Zhou really can't compare with them here. After sending away a few assistants and 2 little lovers, they went to a famous club in Hay to sing and play at night. It seems to be a very stupid thing to take a woman there to find a woman, and Zhou doesn't want to do such boring things anymore. Chapter 844. There's going to be a conflict in KTV. After the group arrived at the club, the duty manager came out to greet them. They were all old customers, so they had their own private room, and almost all of the people here were here, so it was a problem to choose which one. Of course, the manager didn't dare to make a choice casually. The people here were all well-known people, and he didn't want to offend anyone casually. Zhou looked at these people speechlessly. What was there to fight for in this matter? If they continued to argue, they didn't know when they could enter the private room. So he simply stood up and everyone played the most childish black and white match. Whoever won in the end would get the choice. Everyone was drunk and didn't care about whether it was childish or not. A group of people played black and white match under the twitching corner of the manager's eye. The men and women who passed by almost all held back their laughter. A group of grown men in their 20s and 30s played this like children. It was really weird. Zhou certainly didn't care. He didn't have a private room here, so why would he need to play? On the contrary, the pranksters were secretly delighted, watching them shouting black and white match. Okay, 3 on the palm and 5 on the back of the hand. The palm one should retreat first, he said as the referee. Several men pushed them out with regret. These people were playing on the sofa in the customer waiting area. Another group of men and women came in together and looked at them with interest. These people are really childish. How old are they? Still playing this here? Shut up. The companion next to him suddenly shouted. No one will think you are dumb if you don't speak. This scared the young man, and his unruly face turned red. It was just that he would feel very embarrassed to bow his head, but he didn't have the courage to refute him. We can't afford to offend the people over there. Don't cause trouble for your father and me, and my father, because of a few words. The man grabbed the young man's shoulders and stared at him seriously. This younger brother is usually arrogant. He can't compare to the officials in the capital, but he also has its complexities. Brother, Zhou knows it. Please don't talk about him. The girl next to the man came over and pulled him and said, Zhou, hurry up and thank brother Yu. We just came to Hay and are unfamiliar with the place. Brother Yu is doing this for your own good. The young man finally said that he knew it, but he looked at the few people over there, but he didn't have any resentment. He just thought that one day he would be able to get to that level so that others would not dare to say bad things about him casually for fear that it would reach his ears. Among Zhou group of friends, Zhou was the first to be eliminated, and he was in a depressed mood. He happened to see a handsome man over there looking at them, and his eyes made him very uncomfortable. He was not very handsome to begin with, and he was not very happy to see handsome guys. Of course, Zhou was an exception. He was the big brother, and he had to obey him, even if he didn't want to. In addition, he had drunk a lot of wine, and when he looked over there, he immediately shouted fiercely, "Damn, what are you looking at? Have you never seen black and white?" As soon as this was said, the handsome boy Zhou over there immediately read, "I really haven't seen it before. You are not allowed to look," he said with his eyes slanting at them, with a look of disdain on his face. Zhou immediately became angry, and without saying anything, he ran up into steps and 3 steps at a time. KO. He shouted and punched the handsome boy in the face. The handsome boy retreated a few steps and touched his cheek with his right hand to feel the pain on it. His eyes were red, and he looked at Zhou fiercely. "Dare to hit me? Damn it, I'll do it." As he said that, he immediately ran over, waved his hand forward to punch him back, and his feet were ready, and he would kick the dog to death after the punch. Pa. His fist was suddenly blocked, and he couldn't pull it back. When he looked up, he was startled. A big black man grabbed his fist with his palm. As the big black man's palm became stronger and stronger, his fist felt like it was about to be crushed. Zhou was just scared and was about to dodge a punch and fight back. Who knew that his shoulder was pressed down by someone, and then the big black man caught the man's fist with his palm. He knew at a glance that this was Zhou bodyguard, but how did he appear here all of a sudden? Ah. It hurts. Let go. Let go. The handsome boy didn't look handsome at this time. His face was flushed, and his fist was still in Raymond's palm, being squeezed so hard that he was sweating from the pain. The people around the man reacted quickly, but when they wanted to step forward, they were surrounded by several other bodyguards, who also took out electric buttons and looked at them unkindly. "What do you want to do? Let my friend go immediately," the man shouted. "Your friend has a dirty mouth. This is just a small lesson for him." Zhao Jix's voice sounded behind Xiaolin. Xiaolin felt a little embarrassed when he heard this and whispered quietly, "Well, brother Jixi, the person I scolded just now has dirty eyes." Zhao Jixi looked at this dog friend ridiculously. "You are so honest now? Weren't you arrogant just now? Brother Jixi, let's put it one way. If I want to bully someone, I will naturally bully him. No matter who comes, he will get back at me in the end. As for finding excuses, it's meaningless. If it wasn't for this kid looking at us with a wrong look just now, I wouldn't have beaten him. Hey, Lindsay, I didn't see that you have this side. I will talk to my uncle tomorrow. Maybe he will consider giving you more pocket money." No, Brother Jixi, don't tell my old man about this." Xiaolin begged for mercy. Let me go." The man caught by Raymond had a very red face, and it was difficult for him to speak. Zhao Jixi looked at him, then looked at Xiaolin. The boy looked at him with an agreeing look. "Raymond, let him go." Raymond stared at the man in front of him and smiled cruelly. "Lucky boy, your hand is saved." He let go of his hand, and the man suddenly felt like he had been holding his breath for a long time. He immediately held his hand and took a deep breath. Hiss, hiss. The sound of inhaling. Everyone seemed to feel very painful. Brother Hey, Fatty and others have also come over. Although they haven't sobered up yet, their consciousness is still not confused. The group of people actually know each other, and now things have taken a turn for the better. The party who was originally thinking about what to do with the matter is also much more relieved. Fatty and Brother Hey really know them. They were also people in the agency compound before, so they know more or less. Chapter 845. Go to see the Jade in the Celestial Empire. The matter was handled a bit anticlimactic. Facing the strength of Zhao Jix's side, the other side did not dare to do anything. The handsome boy who suffered a loss had to apologize to everyone. Xiaolin said sorry to him alone. It was the first time for the young man to do such a submissive thing. It was still the people around him who explained the pros and cons to him. In addition, he couldn't fight. This was someone else's territory. He had small arms and legs. When he was in his hometown, he could still play 70 yards. Now that he came to Zhanghe, he could only think about it. At this moment, he suddenly began to miss the second-tier cities and his good days of being domineering. In this international metropolis, he no longer had such great power and privileges, and he also felt resentful about his father's promotion. Zhao Jixi and his group walked to the box. The group of people who suffered a loss were no longer in the mood to play, especially the man who led the team. Although he knew it was the fault of the people on the other side, he couldn't afford to offend them, so he could only blame the young people he brought with him. "Why are you looking at them with that look?" Zhao Jixi and others entered the box. This guy usually acts arrogantly in his hometown. He dares to be so arrogant in Zhanghe. He really doesn't know how to live or die. Come on. He just looked at him twice. "You are awesome," the fat man said to Xiaolin with a smile. "Brother Fat, you don't know what kind of eyes that boy has, and that face makes me angry. Is his father the one who was transferred here recently?" "Yeah, it's him. I just hate his face." Zhao Jixi is not very interested in this group of local factions and other factions, or the news of the officialdom of the Celestial Empire. When he was in Mengdi, that group of brothers was a group of local factions. The people in his heart are almost unable to stay here now. Several people played until the evening, and called many girls in the middle. Everyone was not polite. Zhao Jixi held two of them and sang passionately. "Eat well, drink and have fun, then go to the bath and massage together, to get rid of the smell of alcohol. Several brothers should go to bed, when they should go to bed, and hug women, when they should hug women." Zhao Jixi, Fatty and two other people did not go to those activities at night. After the massage, they drove away in 3 cars. Sitting in the car, Zhao Jixi asked the fat man on the left, "Brother Fatty, how much goods do you need?" Fatty thought about it and decided how much goods he should take. They did not know the specific valuation of Zhao Jixi's warehouse. At the beginning, he used his connections to help this batch of goods enter China and finally transferred it to Zhou for storage. He also thought that Zhou Jixi would probably give him some. It depends on how much the warehouse is worth. I still have to consider it. To be honest, Jess, you are not short of money for this thing. It is more valuable than gold in your hand. I really don't know how much it is appropriate. Looking at the fat brother's wry smile, Zhou Jixi laughed instead. I still have a lot of clear materials in the United States, and there are also a lot of raw stones. If you don't take the goods in the warehouse of Zhou to open it, I don't mind if you take more. However, I still have a lot of low-end jade clear materials in it. Most of the goods that Danchu can't take away are placed here. You guys can think about eating some of these goods. The fat man was indescribably envious in his heart. It's better to rob. Forming a mercenary army to sweep Myanmar once, it's really going to be prosperous. The annual jade transaction volume in Myanmar is so tempting. This is the inventory data details inside. Take a look, Zhou Jixi said, and handed the tablet in his hand to him. The fat man took it and looked at it. The car was still driving. Soon they arrived at the warehouse. That was the warehouse area where the logistics companies on the Zhou side were located. Zhou Jixi's security consultant at the time rented a warehouse here and said it was used to store stones. From the outside, there was only an old man guarding the door, but in fact there were several Asian mercenaries inside. When the car arrived, a man in his 30s or 40s with scars on his face came out. Compared with Zhou Jixi's usual bodyguards, he was slightly thinner. Zhou Jixi and others were still in the car, and Raymond had already gotten off to verify the information. After the man confirmed, the people behind him immediately opened the warehouse door, and 3 cars drove in. What's going on, Jixi? An old man came in from outside and saw Zhou Jixi and others' convoy and couldn't help asking, Uncle Fu, why are you back again? Go home and rest first. The company sent someone here. Park Jixi shouted in a clumsy Chinese. That, my things. Uncle Fu, come back tomorrow. Now the company is working, you should go back first. When Park Jixi said this, the 2 bodyguards who followed him had stopped the old man. The old man saw that the situation was not right, coupled with the serious expression on Park Ki-woong's face. He didn't want to cause trouble for others. He had already told him today that he didn't need to come in the evening. Now it seemed that he was really causing trouble. Well, that's fine. I'll go back first. If you have anything, just call me. Okay, go. Park Ki-woong said. Zhou Jixi and others got out of the car after the big iron gate was pulled down. Looking at the Asian-faced man with a scar on his face, Zhou Jixi, who had read his information, knew that he was a North Korean defector from the south of South Korea, and later went to the Middle East through the black market. He was a mercenary there, and his ability was very good. The best result was that he was able to escape safely after killing more than a dozen people alone, and it was also because he had a friendship with Zhou Jixi's team members. Only then did his luck explode and introduce him to Zhou Jixi's Blue Sky Shield company. Although he has good ability, he really can't make money like Zhou Jixi's security consultants. His luck is quite bad. After the probation period, he now works for Jay Chou with a generous salary, which enables him to have enough ability to bring his family from the slums of South Korea to the United States through the company's channels and live a small middle-class life. If he saves a little in daily life, it is enough for him to work alone. People over there are more eager for Western life than Chinese people. Jay Chou gave him everything, and he also gave enough loyalty to the big boss in return. In addition to his background, it is not so easy to find a job if he leaves Lanshan. Not to mention what he did in South Korea, he is not a person with a good reputation in the Middle East. There is only one thing that makes Jay Chou quite puzzled, that is, this guy's really unlucky. Even as an independent mercenary, why does he make so little money? It seems that his character is very corrupt. After Zhou Jixi got out of the car, he immediately trotted over. Boss, welcome here. Zhou Jixi looked at Park Ki-woong and said to him, you've done a good job. After a few days, when things here are settled, you will be transferred back to the US headquarters for a rotation. When you go back, remember to say hello to Zhou for me. Okay, boss, I will. Park Ki-woong's eyes lit up. He missed his daughter after not seeing her for a while. The fat man and the other two people also got off. The first one they saw was the man next to Zhou. Without saying much, he didn't look like a good person anyway. Fat brother, let's go in and take a look first. Don't rush to decide how much to eat. I can wait for you tonight and tomorrow. Zhou turned around and said, haha. Thank you very much, Jess. The fat man said with a smile. Led by Park Ki-woon, several people entered the warehouse. There was an iron door inside. After opening it, there was a pile of stones. Zhou didn't know what kind of stones they were, but he heard that they looked valuable. After Park Ki-woon led everyone through the concealed stones in front, they came to a wall. While the fat men were still wondering what was going on, Park Ki-woon had already inserted a mobile hard disk into the remove switch box on the wall, and then pressed it and made way. Raymond besides Zhou also took out a mobile hard disk from his body, but it was much bigger than Park Ki-woon's. Then Zhou went over and pressed his thumb, and Park Ki-woon then removed the disguised thing under the wall, revealing a steel door inside. Zhou looked at the fat man with a surprised look on his face, and suddenly felt a little happy. At the beginning, they used his channel to get the things into the Celestial Empire, but after arriving in the Celestial Empire, they changed to another place for storage, and the fat man didn't know where it was. The Blue Sky Shield Company chose this place because there was an underground warehouse here. Just add a security door at the entrance and increase the disguise. The things are in the garage downstairs. We always have to take precautions when we do things. For example, if this is opened now, our US headquarters will receive the news and start investigating whether it was opened by one of our own people. It seems very powerful. Brother, I'm convinced. The fat man said with admiration. Several people walked down along the open steel door. There were still many green and red rays in the middle of the road. After Raymond pressed the switch next to it, the bottom became bright. After the fat man and Zhou and others came down, they saw a row of neat shelves inside. On them were cut jadeite. Most of the jadeite on the ground were ore stones, large and small, but each piece had a label and code. Zhou's company headquarters also has photos archived, so each piece has a number. If you compare the spoils, you must make it clear with the employees and give them all the money they should give. Therefore, it is absolutely necessary to have financial details in the company. Oh my god, how much is this worth? The fat man exclaimed as he looked at these things. Didn't I show it to you just now? According to our estimate, the clear material in here is worth about 130 million yuan. The rough stone is also worth more than 70 million Cheyenne Cheo coins. But maybe after we uncover it, the value will exceed this part. These are old mines in Myanmar. During the public auction, several mine owners took out a lot of old goods stored in their homes to exchange for cash. My goods and theirs are from the same batch. Although the good ones have been uncovered, the ones saved are definitely much better than the rough stones brought back from China, and the chance of getting jade is much higher. Chapter 846. Blasphemy your sister. The fat man nodded after listening. It was true that these raw stones were old pit goods. He first looked at the cut materials, and the two people beside him also looked at them. Although he heard that they were low-end goods, these were the ones with the largest sales volume on the market. After all, not many people can afford expensive jewelry, but low-end and medium-end goods are different. People who need them can afford them, as long as they save more money. He looked at this and that, and the smile on his face became more and more obvious. If he took all of them, he could at least make twice the profit. However, it also takes time to turn the theoretical profit into cash. But the time required also ensures that his supply can last longer. In the jade market, and even in the jewelry market, his store is more competitive. Moreover, the current jade market is very hot, and Myanmar has strengthened the control of the supply, which has caused the price to continue to rise. Because everyone knows that buying this will never depreciate, and it can also increase in value on this basis. This is a good thing for you, me, and everyone. Several people stayed in the warehouse for more than an hour, and Zhou himself was also looking at the jadeite. There were also those jadeite rough stones, which were also very interesting to look at. This thing could actually cut out very valuable jadeite, which was really amazing. Suddenly, He thought of the golden finger in the novel. He himself had the ability to sense it, so he couldn't wait to put his hand on the stone and try to activate his earth vitality to see if he could sense what was going on inside the jadeite rough stone. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Everyone didn't notice it at first, but after a little longer, they began to look at the boss strangely. His face was as tangled as if he was constipated. Touching the jadeite rough stone, his expression was really weird and funny. Zhou sensed for a long time and only found that there was something different from the stone outside. However, he had no idea what this thing was. After all, the situation inside the jadeite raw stone was a bit complicated. He only had a little idea of how much certain things were contained, but it was not like in the novels, where you could tell at a glance what was precious or not. This damn jade is precious and will glow, and you can tell at a glance. He looked at it for a long time, but couldn't figure out what the jade looked like inside. He immediately put down the raw stone in anger. Nimmer, although this situation is somewhat useful, do I have to sense them one by one, like embroidery, to sense them all bit by bit? That would be really a waste of time. Zhou gave up the idea of doing such boring things. After turning around, he saw that several people immediately turned their eyes away from him. He felt strange about this action. What was there to see? Finally, the fat man took the tablet computer given by Zhou back. It already had the jade information sent from the headquarters of Blue Sky Shield Company, and the picture features were compared with the current price. When he went back, he only needed to take this and see the people around him to choose which ones or how much to choose. In the evening, the fat man went back and discussed with others. Zhou didn't care how much he wanted to take. He was still thinking about whether to cut the remaining raw stones or not. This is a question worth thinking about. There are still many precious raw materials and clear materials in the United States, which have now been transferred to his safe. Next time he goes to the United States, he plans to get some and store them in his own space so that he will feel safer and more secure. Precious jewels, when placed in a place where he can't see them, always seem to be a little uneasy, even if it is his own warehouse. There is no need to worry about the fat man's matter for the time being. He is still thinking whether to go to see Girls' Generation first or to see them during the concert. This is a question worth thinking about, but thinking about his current situation, he is still bored anyway, so he will go and see them first. After thinking about it, he called Sunny and told her that he had arrived at Zhou. He asked her to come out for a drink together, and the girl immediately agreed happily. Of course, there are also members he is familiar with here. It is more fun to come out together. The girls have stopped practicing for the past 2 days, mainly because they are familiar with the stage, and they also need to save their energy for the concert. 2 days before the concert, they are just getting familiar with the process, so there is nothing to do. Just now they were chatting with the Brothers of Society of Jesus. Sunny answered the phone and went out with a smile on her face, then rushed back in. Jesse Oppa said he's coming to Zhou and wants to treat us to a meal and asked if you guys would like to go. The girls looked at each other. Of course, there was no problem with Quan Yuri and Yuna, who were more familiar with Jay Chou. Jessica and Huan Miang were both American children. They were not opposed to this kind of activities. In addition, they were really curious and grateful to Jay Chou, so it would be good to go and see him. Captain Tien was not very interested. In addition, as the captain, she was more familiar with the process and stage conditions than the team members, so she immediately said that she would not go to Jay Chou's place. When asking them to help, they should apologize. After all, Jay Chou was a wealthy man who helped them. These girls are now presidents, and they sell Jay Chou's bird clothing. Then, although So Young, Sia Hyun, Hyoin and others were not so familiar with Jay Chou, they had to go to express their gratitude just because he helped them open a brand clothing chain store, not to mention that they were really grateful to him for this matter. Sunny could only express her regret to Tien. After saying goodbye to Society of Jesus' Brothers with a few girls, she walked out of the lounge on the other side of the stage and planned to take a shower and change clothes. Tien, the girl who stayed behind, also had various emotions in her heart. For the time being, she really couldn't leave today. She needed to do some things with her agent and the company for the aftermath. Otherwise, when the children came back, they would still be scolded. The Society of Jesus people who were chatting together also had strange expressions on their faces. They already knew Sunny's background, but this girl was obviously not as simple as everyone saw. They thought that she just had an uncle who was the founder of SM and the current director of the company, so they thought she was a girl with a strong background. These people had an old friend of her mother who was a former director of SBS TV station, and now had a powerful brother who was a director of SBS TV station. There was also a world billionaire, whose wealth would soon surpass that of the richest man in South Korea. Compared with these, the background in SM company was really nothing. Recently, Girls' Generation opened several clothing stores in Seoul, selling clothing of the same name as the game Angry Birds. I heard that the capital seemed to be funded by others, and they would be returned if they made money. If they didn't make money, it would be considered the investor's own. All this makes people envious and jealous, all because there is a Sunny in their team. All this makes them wonder why there can't be such a person in their own team. Well, okay, although there is a young master of the Choi family who is also quite powerful, it's a pity that he is not as powerful as Sunny's brothers. At most, he can only treat them to dinner, which is a lot more. They used to be complacent about this, but now they compare the treatment of Girls' Generation and their own treatment. It's really a deadly comparison. Why can't they also support their own business, or support some other things? Fortunately, they dare to think about these words in their minds. If they really say them out loud, they will just be embarrassed. After several girls changed their clothes, they waited for the car sent by Zhou Jixi in the hotel. It was not very convenient for them to go out by themselves. They did not have a driver's license in China, so it was even more inconvenient to go out and take a ride. Zhou Jixi was very considerate to send a car to pick them up, which was the best idea. After the car arrived, Zhou Jixi called to inform the girls that for safety reasons, they should drive the car into the underground parking garage, so that they would not have to worry too much about the reporter's questions. After aiming at his car, the girls came over, and Zhou Jixi also opened the door. Several girls quickly got into the car, and then closed the door, before they breathed a sigh of relief. Facing the 5 girls in the car wearing hats and masks, he was really a little strange. Okay, kids, you don't have to wear masks. A group of people wearing masks really feels a bit like being in a hospital. Zhou Jixi said jokingly. Oppa, the masks in the hospital are not as good looking as ours. What nonsense. Yuna had already taken off her mask and showed Zhou Jixi her cute mask, saying with an indignant look, yeah, Oppa is talking nonsense. Kwon Yuri also said, I agree. Sunny was also full of energy and raised her hand. I should be thankful that the car is big enough, otherwise her hand would have hit the roof if she raised it a little further. In a general sense, when Oppa sees so many masks, it is indeed easy to associate it with things like hospitals. Zhou Jixi looked at Zuzan who was talking, thinking that this little girl's integrity still has the benefits of integrity. Just when I wanted to say something to her, she spoke again. But Oppa, this is the most interesting character mask in Korea. How can it be compared with the monotonous colored masks in the hospital? Even if it is what I said, Oppa, you also blasphemed my mask. Yes, it is blasphemy. Huang Miang also joined in. Zhou Jixi looked at the girls ridiculously. I'm blaspheming your sister. Blaspheming. He was about to say this, but after thinking about it in his mind, he realized that this sentence contained a lot of information and seemed to have many meanings. Blaspheming, your sister, your sister, your sister, your sister below. Blaspheming your sister below. Once these words were spoken, the 5 girls would be beaten up and never think about blaspheming their sisters again. Well, Jessica does have a sister. Blaspheming her own sister? Or blaspheming the sister below her? It's really hard to choose. Zhou Jixi sighed in his heart and raised his head to see the roof of the car. If both are okay, then I will feel so satisfied. Oppa, you are drooling. Oh my god, Oppa's saliva is dripping. Ah. It's dripping, 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 dripping. Affirmation sentence. Chapter 847. Thank you Oppa. Zhou Jixi no longer bothered about the mask issue. He watched Zuzan drop his saliva and throw the tissue into the garbage bag on the car. Damn it, He suddenly felt his face getting hot. He was so embarrassed to be like this in front of the children, especially since he was just thinking about pretending to be a big Israeli wolf, but now he has become a fool. The feeling of being in two different worlds is really not good. Oppa was thinking too much, so the control of the mouth nerves in his brain suddenly weakened, causing the saliva to overflow unconsciously. Zhou explained with a look of truth. Oppa doesn't need to be embarrassed. This is one of the basic defects of the human body, and the sisters often do this. Yeah. Often. Looking at Zhou, Zhou was relieved again, nodded seriously and said, Zhou he pulled the corner of his mouth. He is a biologist, even if he is still a biology student, but talking about such a frontline problem to such a girl is really depressed. Hey, Zhou, Ash, you are such a child who doesn't respect your sister. I must teach you a lesson. Perhaps because she was guilty, Yuna shouted immediately, rushed over and hugged Zhou. How can you say that about the sisters? Ian and Jessica must be so sad to hear that. Yeah. Yes. The girls followed suit. Jessica's face turned black. But I didn't just say that about them. The sisters were also like this. When they were surfing the internet and putting on MacUp, the sisters could fall asleep and drool. I saw it with my own eyes. Zhou didn't think this girl was upright at this moment. She was a typical black-bellied girl, and she was not just an ordinary black-bellied girl. Zhou, you are dead. I will destroy you on behalf of Girls' Generation. It's not that way. Girls' Generation will destroy you together. We don't need a representative. We will do it ourselves. Hand over your little butt, Sunny said with a sly smile. Although Zhou was suppressed, she still saw Zhou's gaze, and her face suddenly turned red. Especially his cheesing eyes and slightly embarrassed expression made the girls feel so embarrassed. Zhou in the car could only pretend that he didn't know and watch them playing. The scene was very enjoyable. The girls were playing and floating. It was true that their breasts were not big, but they were still nice. He took them to the restaurant and went directly to the private room. Of course, they didn't go to the Western restaurant, but to a Chinese restaurant. They had been there with friends before. The environment was good, the dishes were good, and the most important thing was that they tasted good. Several Korean girls like spicy food. Zhou can eat spicy food, but he can't stand eating too much. Looking at those people in Korean movies who can eat so many peppers well, he still feels very envious. You have a concert tomorrow, so we won't drink. Just order whatever you want to drink, don't be polite to me, Zhou said to the girls, after he sat down. Oh, by the way, the food here is very clean. Don't worry about getting an upset stomach. Thank you, Oppa, Sunny said sweetly, while looking at Zhou. Oppa is so nice. Yuna sat on his right and looked at him with big eyes. The rest of the girls did the same, smiling and thanking him. Don't be polite. What's there to thank me for just having a meal? I should thank you for coming out to have dinner with me. Haha. If people knew that I had dinner with Girls' Generation, they would be envious. Oppa deserves our gratitude, so we have to thank you, Zhou said seriously. Especially recently, our brand clothing store has been doing pretty good business. It is estimated that we can recoup our investment in more than a year. Yes, Oppa is our big boss. How can I not thank him? Okay, don't thank me one by one. I help you and myself. Recently, I have also looked at the shipment situation in Southeast Asia. Your Korean agents are doing very well. Compared with other small countries, there is still a certain amount. It ranks only below China and Japan, and the sales volume is growing very fast. It is estimated that it will catch up with Japan. This is due to your fame. Otherwise, I think based on the population of South Korea, surpassing Japan is a very rare thing. While Zhou was talking, the waiters had already served the cold dishes and brought in the drinks, all of which were freshly squeezed fruits. The waiters poured a glass into each girl's cup. Has the company said anything to you about this recently? Zhou asked with concern. The girls looked at each other, then looked at Sunny. The girl seemed a little embarrassed, not knowing how to tell Zhou. However, Jessica spoke first. Recently, Kim Young minimum representative has some opinions about us, thinking that we use the resources created by the company to make profits for ourselves. Oh, there is also this matter. Jay Chow was really a little surprised. Does it have any impact on you? It's still the concert period. The company doesn't want to cause trouble, so they didn't issue a penalty notice to us. Kwon Yuri also said, it's okay. The money your company gave you has to be shared by 9 people, so there is not much left. If there are opinions, there are opinions. To put it bluntly, we can still choose whether to go or not. Let them stay aside. Jay Chow said nonchalantly. You have only opened a few stores in Seoul now. If you open chain stores in other cities in the future, you will earn more. Compared with the exhausting life of a star, being a boss is much better. He paused and said, just like I told you last time, the road of idols is short after all. There are so many eliminations when you are trainees. When you become stars, you will not only face huge mountains in front of you, but also face the younger generations who are emerging in large numbers. South Korea is such a small market that it can't accommodate you for many years. Oppa, we still have dreams. Although we don't know how far we can go, we can still walk on the road now, and we can still be happy. Sunny said and looked at Zhao Jixi. We know that Oppa is doing this for our own good, but we still want to do it for a few more years. Sunny's words also made the other girls silent, and they looked at Zhao Jixi with their eyes. There was apology and a desire for understanding. After being stared at by the girls for dozens of seconds, the waiter in the room did not dare to speak to interrupt this silent space. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 848, Zhao Jixi's thoughts. Finally, Jay Chow sighed. Forget it, you are adults too. You all have your own ideas and pursuits, and I won't force you. Regarding your president Kim Young minimum, I will inform Sky Games and the clothing company. As he spoke, he tapped the table lightly, as if he had weighed it in his mind before continuing. Let them talk to your company about game endorsements and clothing endorsements. This way, I don't think your president has any reason to say anything about you. Seeing that the girls seemed to want to say something, he quickly waved his hand to stop them. This is just a business behavior. It is very beneficial to enhance our brand awareness. When the girls saw Jay Chow's look, they said in unison, thank you, Oppa. As if shouting slogans. You kids, stop thanking us all the time. Besides, our head office has to pay, but you are also agents in South Korea. Your agency has to pay for this endorsement as well. It's okay. We still have this little money. Sunny looked proud, as if she was willful, because she had money. Yes, we have money, and the novel signed itself, which feels really good. Kim Hyo-yeon also said excitedly. This is very normal in the United States. After a friend of mine became famous, he planned to create his own brand with the same name, selling perfumes, clothes, jewelry, underwear, etc., all of which are to convert fame into profits. This model is very common in the United States. Some stars are affiliated with big brands to create their own brands. The money they earn is much more than selling records or endorsing. You are a little worse in Korea. The freedom of stars is too low. They work hard to reach the income of the middle class, and this is only in the days of youth and beauty. Zhao Jixi's words also made several girls look thoughtful. They are not unaware of the situation of the seniors in the company. The 9 of them thought that it was impossible for them to reach the level of the company's top sister Boa and Kangta. If the company can allocate them stocks, they will basically have enough to live on these stocks for the rest of their lives. The most important thing is that being an idol singer is not a high status in Korean society. There is no way to have a higher social status than being a chairman or president. Oppa, thank you for telling us this. The situation in Korea is roughly like this, but we also have to work hard for the future. At least now we have taken the first step. In the future, we will take more steps, and all this is thanks to Oppa's help. Yuli looked at Zhao Jixi with gratitude and said, yes, Jess Oppa, really, thank you so much. Zhou Hying also said, and her expression was also very vivid. Even if Zhao Jixi didn't like her very much, he thought that this child actually looked good. Then Jessica, Yuna, Sunny, Kim Hyo-yin and others followed suit. Zhao Jixi liked this atmosphere very much, especially a few delicate girls who looked at you with gratitude and held a cup in their hands to toast you, and you didn't have to persuade them to drink. Of course, what they drank at this time were all drinks. Next time after the concert, we will have a good drink to celebrate. If you really want to thank me now, then use drinks instead of wine, Zhao Jixi said. As soon as he finished speaking, the children became even more enthusiastic. They took the drinks and started toasting Zhao Jixi. He didn't expect that the drinks would make him bloated. In the end, he had no choice but to use the old method. Although he cheated on the girls, he couldn't drink more than 8 of them. He only had 1 stomach, and 8 of them only had 8 stomachs. He couldn't bear to eat more. For Zhao Jixi, who didn't retire, the girls really admired him. There were 8 of them, and now they all felt bloated after drinking. Brother Jixi, he only felt a little bloated after drinking alone. He was really handsome as a man who could eat so much food. He had a very happy meal. As for Tian, Zhao Jixi had forgotten about it. In his previous life, he didn't care much about this girl, especially since she was the heroine in many novels. He really didn't see what was so beautiful about this girl. She is about the same height as Sunny, but her breasts but are much worse than Sunny's. At least Sunny is cute and lively. Except for her height, which is indeed a flaw. She is much better than Tian in other aspects, and she has a nice breast and a nice butt. Of course, the latter is the key point, so in comparison, Tian can only be put aside. Later, Tian and something else also dated a boyfriend named Bayan. In short, Jay Chou is not too interested in this girl, and this time he is also a love or nothing. In Girls' Generation, he is still closer to Sunny, Yuna and Guanyuri. As for Suyoung, he feels that this girl is a little too thoughtful and scheming. He doesn't like her very much, nor does he hate her very much, but he won't get too close to her. Huang Miang is just average, and his evaluation is quite interesting. Jessica is a girl with a pretty face, but she is very cautious. But sometimes she has a lot of ideas, but she doesn't make any decisions, and likes others to make decisions for her. But she is not a fool. In short, she is a woman with some contradictions. Zhao Jixi has a good impression of her because of her pretty face. There is also the girl who left a deep impression on Zhu Zun. This girl with some baby fat is very cute and fun. But sometimes you can't tease her. If you tease her too much, this girl will get angry with you. Apart from some shortcomings in her personality, she is still quite suitable to be a wife. In addition, Zhao Jixi thought of some things and couldn't help but mutter to himself, I don't know where the good cabbage will end up. It's really a pity. In addition to the impression that Kim Hyo-yin can speak some Chinese, her face is also average, and her body flexibility is good. She just speaks carelessly, and the rest is just like that. In short, after a close contact, Zhao Jixi feels that the girls of Girls' Generation are not much different from ordinary girls, but they are quite attractive. After putting on the aura of celebrities in the entertainment industry, he also guessed that Zhou Company would react this time. The star has a sideline business, but it is clothing. Obviously, he used the popularity created by the company to consume, and the company's senior management also slightly guessed that Zhao Jixi was using the girls. Otherwise, these things will only benefit Sunny, and at most Guanyuri will be added. Why should other girls be included? The senior management heard the explanation of the Captain Tian, but the reason made them feel ridiculous. It felt like his sisters, so they agreed to provide the capital for them to do business. With such a ridiculous reason, how many sisters do you have? Most of these things were guessed by people representing Kim Young Minimum. Lee Soo-man also felt a lot of things, but he was not in the same faction as them. I don't know what he was thinking, so he didn't do or say anything. Although there are his nieces in Girls' Generation, in fact, their group was not created by him, but by people from Kim Young Minimum's side in the company. After several meetings, they discussed that Jay Chou might be planning to support local agents. Because no matter who is the agent of bird clothing in Korea, it doesn't make much difference to him. Then choosing Girls' Generation to do it will not make much difference, and they are obviously more advantageous than ordinary businessmen. as an emerging clothing brand, although there is a popular game with the same name. But it is obviously impossible to convert all of this into clothing consumption. The popularity of the girls can obviously be converted into clothing consumption, and it can also increase the brand awareness of bird clothing. Recently, even the Angry Birds game has risen to the top of the download list in South Korea. The sales volume of bad clothing is actually catching up with the Japanese agents. The senior executives have desired Jay Chou's scheming and ability. Of course, they know all this, but what they don't know is that as the girl's fame spreads, several countries in Asia will also know this brand. This allows the Asian branch of Angry Bird Clothing to have more say when negotiating contracts with other agents and obtain the highest profit distribution that emerging brands can get. In fact, the plan discussed by Jay Chou and the planning department, publicity department, and strategic group of the clothing company is to hype the conflict between the entrepreneurial girls and the Korean SM company, and then expand the situation and start hyping the contract termination crisis. Every time an artist of SM company terminates the contract, it can attract the attention of many people in Asia as an important contradiction and reason for the termination of the contract. Many people will definitely start to pay attention to Jay Chou's clothing brand, and the brand promotion efforts are not ordinary. Let him have his own fame in the gaming industry and among smartphone users, and then turn this fame into profit. And the clown is not his company and girls' generation, but them. Anyway, their reputation is already bad, so it doesn't matter if it gets worse. When the time comes, hype it up in Korea, and then hype it up in China, and implicate other Korean stars in their company. It will definitely attract a lot of attention, and maybe even suppress their stock price. And I can also get some by the way. SM is the most profitable entertainment company in Korea. In the future, there will be a boy group like X, and the speed of making money is amazing. Now I will agree to talk to the girls, and stabilize the people on both sides. If I want to completely cause the conflict between them and the company, I guess I have to wait until the concert is over before I can start to further conflict. Chapter 849 Girls. People are selfish. By the end of the concert, according to the current sales volume in South Korea and the rising popularity of the girls, it is estimated that the principal that Jay Chou helped to pay will soon be repaid. The girls who contributed more money may be able to receive dividends. Of course, this is based on the fact that the store is leased and the ownership of the store still belongs to Jay Chou or the company. The main reason why Jay Chou did this is that Korean real estate is more suitable for bargain hunting now. The economic crisis has always been a feast for capitalists. He can't eat meat, but he still has to drink some soup. It won't be long before the real estate price will go up, especially in places like Seoul where there are few lands and many people. He can't lose money, and maybe he can even make some money. This money is directly borrowed in South Korea. He can also take out some money by taking over the store. It doesn't matter how many percent it is. Jay Chou likes to do business with the bank's money. It feels really good to use the money of the Korean bank to earn the one of the Korean people. The agency established by the girls has reduced the cost a lot. In addition, if the brand store only needs to pay the rent, the girls can see the benefits faster. At TOP at POINT at NOVEL the accounts look much better. After all, there is motivation only when there is profit. The girls will have the confidence to negotiate with the company. In the end, it may be as Jay Chou said, if things get big, the fame will be hyped up. After getting rich, the girls will probably think that being a star is exhausting, and it doesn't matter whether they do it or not. After all, it's easy to make money as a boss. If some company threatens them with the entertainment contract, the worst thing they can do is not to be a star. Jay Chou's plan is money. Girls will cooperate with him only if they have money. Even if not all of them are like this, as long as a few girls think like this, girls' generation will be almost finished. If 3 or 4 girls quit the group will be broken up. Fans cannot accept such turmoil. His goal is simple, either to destroy the girl group, or to use their popularity to raise the popularity of his brand in Korea to a certain level. Even if the worst result turns out to be the one mentioned above, he can accept it. In the end, he will not suffer much loss. On the contrary, SM will suffer a huge loss. then the stock price will fall, and he can make a profit by buying at a low price. Businessmen hurt people. He didn't know when he heard this sentence before. Anyway, he now thinks it makes sense. Only when those people are hurt, they will know what compromise is and who they should compromise with. After Zhou took the girls to eat and drink well, he sent them back. After all, tomorrow is a very important day for them, and today is a small celebration. When the girls returned to their hotel, they could see their agents waiting there. There were also people from the cooperative performing arts company on the Xianqiaozhong side. Men and women were standing there waiting for them, afraid that something might happen to them at this critical moment. The girls were very low-key when they entered the hotel, and they talked and laughed after entering. The group of people soon saw them and hurried over. Jessica and Sunny were leading in front, and Tian was also following them. Zhou was talking to the girls, and there were several bodyguards protecting them. Obviously, they couldn't get in. After passing the bodyguard's cordon, Raymond's men immediately blocked the position, looking like strangers should stay away. What are you doing? What do you want to do? The fastest walker was a middle-aged man with a big belly and a pair of gold-rimmed glasses on his face. He looked at the white bodyguard he bumped into with an angry face. The bodyguard seemed to see something in the corner of his eyes, and then he immediately looked at him with disdain, with a cruel smile on his mouth. Do you want to die? Back off immediately. If you try to get close to my boss, I have the right to suspect that you have bad intentions. He spoke in Chinese, which was a bit dry and not very proficient. The man shouted angrily, do you know who I am? Get out of here now. I don't need to know who you are, but I will let you know who this is. The bodyguard raised his fist and wanted to punch him. The girls reacted immediately, called the bodyguard's name, and apologized, saying that he was someone they knew. At this time, the bodyguard had already grabbed the man's collar and lifted it up a little bit, making the man unable to touch the ground at all. Raymond signaled to him from behind, and the white bodyguard let the man down. These were all signaled by Zhou, otherwise a bodyguard would not be able to speak casually and offend people casually. He just wanted to create some contradictions and let the people of SM Company feel that the girls were beginning to get out of control. They were beginning to be arrogant, and they would not obey the company's management. If SM Company dared to increase their pressure and suppress their backlash, then Zhou's goal would be achieved. Conspiracies and tricks are all small tricks, and Zhou just tried them because he thought it was fun. In the previous life, Jessica from the girls had been expelled from Girls' Generation, so it was nothing for him to do this, right? There has long been a natural contradiction between capitalists and the exploited. In the lobby of the hotel, even if the girls did this, the middle-aged man still looked gloomy. He was a boss after all, and he really couldn't stand the embarrassment in his heart. The girls were not the ones he wanted to lose his temper with. He thought he had some status and didn't want to lose his temper with the artists. Besides, the girls had come to the rescue just now. If he lost his temper with the girls now, wouldn't it show that he had a problem with his character? Of course, his anger was directed at their manager. He didn't have the courage to deal with Zhou. Just now, they were just bodyguards. It was okay for him to curse at them, but the real boss looked like someone who was not easy to mess with. After thinking about it, he decided to forget it. If a businessman didn't have a good look and the ability to bend and stretch, he wouldn't be a businessman. Zhou was watching the show from behind. His manager, the person in charge of SM concerts, and the people in the planning department all mocked or cursed him. The girls hurried over to apologize, but he could already feel that they were not as humble as before. People's hearts will swell with pride. In the past, they were just small singers who could only make money with the help of the company. Of course, they had to be humble and respectful to the company. Even the heads of the planning department could teach them a lesson, because they were trained by the company. But that was in the past. Now they feel that they are different. They can earn money to support themselves without relying on the company, and this money is not a small amount. In addition, they are also directors of a company with a market value of several billion won. Moreover, this company is not small. There are several stores in Seoul, and it will spread to other parts of South Korea in the future. Compare themselves with the senior executives who work for the company. The girls also found that something was wrong. Their social status is much higher than theirs. They pay much more taxes on their own than them, and their contribution to society is also much greater. Why should they bow their heads and look at their faces? Chapter 850. Explode. Young girl Zuzan. Once a woman has set a position for herself in her heart, she will unconsciously lean over. There are really not many people who can still do the same as before. Even the upright Zuzan has changed a little. In the past, she might have been more polite. To some people and some things, she would act as a junior, because she was young and her social status was not very high. Now she has changed too. When she felt that she should do so before, she reached the so-called status in her mind, and she did reach it in reality. She will think that others should also do to her what she did before. When her social status is improved, others should give her due respect. If not, it is a denial of her, or disrespect for her. So don't look at her young age and think that she has no requirements, because she is polite and upright now. When the SM people shouted at them, the little girl bit her lips and looked unconvinced. Ego, Zuzan, what's your expression? Did I say something wrong? A middle-aged woman scolded Zuzan. My expression is normal, I just think you're wrong. Zuzan looked at her and said, Ego, what do you mean? Do you want to rebel? That's how you talk to me. The woman said angrily. Okay, Director Park, that's not what I meant. Don't be angry anymore. As the girls' manager, he has already felt some changes in the girls, especially Zuzan, who usually looks upright and polite. The change is the biggest. Although she still respects her sisters, she seems to be a little indifferent to others, as if they have done something wrong to her, but it's the same as usual. Where did they do something else? If not, then it's the girl's own problem. He has also led many stars before, and naturally knows that after becoming popular, the nature of many people will be revealed. Arrogant, conceited, and arrogant, all the same. But her change was not a problem when her popularity exploded, but she started to change recently. And what the company knows recently is that these girls have started their own side businesses. That clothing agency is now worth billions of won, has its own stores, and its sales are still growing every month. Zuzan's change, and the girl's change, may be due to that company. Zuzan did not accept the kindness of her agent, but looked at the woman and said, that's what I mean. So Director Park, please pay attention to your identity. You are just a director, and we are not under your control. And you are at least still working for the company, and you only have that little salary every month. So please be respectful when you talk to us. Aigo, do you know what you are saying? The woman was furious and stretched out her hand to hit someone. The girls haven't come back to their senses yet. Why would their youngest say that? When the woman was about to hit someone, they really didn't know what to do. But they didn't expect that Zuzan actually blocked the woman's waving arm. Zuzan looked at the woman seriously, with a dull face, and didn't react at all. Director Park, I will reserve the right to sue you for your intention to attack me. I didn't know you were really ready to sue the director of a large company. Zuzan waved away her hand that was blocking her. The contract I signed with the company was only an entertainment contract, which did not include a contract to sell my body. SM is just a company that represents my entertainment qualifications, and in addition to this identity, I'm also one of the directors of a company. In terms of social status, I'm much higher than you, and in terms of tax records and social contributions, I'm also much higher than you. I don't know what qualifications you have to teach me in front of me, so you are just a director. Even if you are not a director of a company, please show some respect. Zuzan's words stunned the people around her. It was really too shocking. The girls of girls' generation also noticed her changes, but she was still the same to herself, and she just became more strict with herself, and seemed to read a lot of books every day. Just this sudden change really made them feel that the world has changed. But her words also made the girls sober up a lot. Yes, they are no longer the same as before. SM is just a company that signed their own performance contract. At most, they will not be in the entertainment industry anymore. They are also one of the directors of a big company. The person in front of them is just a small director. What qualifications do they have to teach them a lesson? The agent now knows where Zuzan's change comes from. It is indeed that company that made this girl change. She used to be a girl who respected social status. Of course, she also hopes to realize the principles she respects in herself. She has always abided by them before. Now that she has achieved the status she deserves, others must abide by her principles and give her the treatment she deserves. What are you talking about? Do you know what you are talking about? The woman screamed. You'd better think it over. There are many witnesses on this side. My prosecution has a high chance of winning. Although you will not be sentenced, it is certain that you will leave a stain on your social record. For a small director like you, I think it will be a serious matter. Your mortgage, car loan, and family may be affected. Have you calmly considered the consequences? As Zhou spoke, the woman gradually calmed down. As she talked about her family, she suddenly broke down. Yes, she still had her own family to take care of. If her husband was capable, she wouldn't need to work as a woman. She could be a full-time wife at home. Unfortunately, her husband didn't have that ability. Zhou kept looking at her. If you have considered it, then we can talk about it. What you have to do now is very simple. Apologize to me, and I will forgive your rudeness and disrespect just now. Zhou, she is older than you after all. How can you do this? Tien just stood up from the back and said, Zhou, don't make trouble anymore. Apologize to Director Park immediately. The people from SM Company also said. The other girls didn't speak, and the agent didn't speak either. They watched all this coldly. Other SM artists also heard the news and came to see what was going on. They were really surprised to see Zhou's performance. This society has always been based on social status. Although you are a senior, you are just a director, and I'm a director, so my request is very reasonable. Zhou still said calmly. Yuna secretly followed Sunny and said, she is indeed a girl who dreams of becoming a diplomat. At this moment, she really looks like a diplomat of a country that has won a war. She is showing herself at the negotiation table. No matter what the opponent says, she responds calmly and fights for her own interests. That's so beautiful. We didn't expect that our youngest has this side. Sunny also said in surprise. She usually observes etiquette. Now that she has reached a high level, she naturally asks others to give her the courtesy that her status should be. This is a matter of principle, so the youngest will fight for it. Jessica also whispered on the side. Yes, just as they said, the youngest Zhou usually reads a lot of diplomatic textbooks. Her idol Ban Ki-moon is already the Secretary General of the United Nations. This is one of the ultimate dreams of diplomats. To be a diplomat, you must first learn how to fight for the interests you deserve. Then, when you upgrade to a higher level, you must be able to fight for the interests you don't deserve, and everything you learn is for the last two services. The youngest is still in the primary stage, but how could she not know about threats and intimidation, which are commonly used by diplomats? Her family is also middle class, and she has received a good education and family environment. She has a strong sense of law and rights. Another stronger sense is the sense of hierarchy. As a traditional Korean family, the educational philosophy and sense of hierarchy she received at home have made her learn a lot and gain a lot. Although she is young, she can tolerate being wronged. She works hard for herself and for you to enjoy everything she has done today. Now she feels that she is qualified enough. She has paid the most for the agency and is about to get her money back. After this concert, she will be able to become one of the company's directors, although she is only one of the directors now. The middle-aged woman who was taught a lesson glared at the Korean stars around her, Society of Jesus, and some trainees who came to dance with her, almost admiringly looked at Zhou. Oh my god, no one expected that the youngest member of Girls' Generation would have such an arrogant side. Director Park, if you apologize immediately, I will choose to forgive you. Now I will give you 30 seconds. I hope you can make a choice for your family and don't let the so-called anger overcome your reason. Time passed by minute, and the woman with the sexy part gradually put down her upright shoulders. Her mouth seemed to open, but she couldn't speak. Back and forth several times, until Zhou reminded her again. She opened her thirsty mouth and said, I'm sorry, Zhou. I was too impulsive just now. I'm really sorry. It's a good thing to know your mistakes and correct them. Director Park, I forgive you, but I hope you can read more books when you go back, which will obviously be of great help to you. Zhou said seriously, and she seemed to have become the usual upright youngest. But she is no longer that youngest. As she said herself, she is a director of a company. The agent also looked at Ms. Park, who apologized dully, and apologized like this. It's not the girls who apologized, but other people who apologized. This is really a headache. Chapter 851, Change and Invariance. Please vote. The girls returned to their rooms on their own, and only said hello to JC Chow. When he signaled the girls to leave, the atmosphere in the lobby was uncomfortable. The manager and team leader Tian, the management of SM Company, they all noticed that the girls were different. They no longer looked like obedient company artists, but had a clear intention to resist and fight. The managers and management immediately reported to the company representative. The senior executives of SM Company in South Korea were very embarrassed and angry, and they were swearing and throwing tantrums on the phone. Listening to the voice on the phone, several people dared not say anything more until Kim Young-min had almost vented his anger, and the noise stopped. In the end, he just said that everything would be discussed after the concert, and then hung up the phone. But the tone of his voice indicated that what happened next was not that simple. The manager took a deep look at the young rich man sitting there watching the show. This was all he wanted to see. What was the purpose of this gesture? What did he want to do? He supports the girls to start their own side businesses, and also plots to make the girls have conflicts with the company. Top point. Novel. Remember the disbandment of those boys in TVXQ. It was also because of this person's support, although the strength was not as strong as his, but in the end they parted ways, and no one was happy. Now there is such a person again, which makes him very worried about the company. In the past, there was Lee Soo-man who made the decision, but now he is just the director of the company, and Girls' Generation was still led by the current company representative Kim Young-min. There are some internal struggles in the company. It is said that Lee Soo-man will not help at that time, and the most likely thing is that he will add insult to injury. It has always been his wish to pull Kim Young-min down from the position of representative. At that time, because of the problem of tax evasion, he had to give up the throne of the company representative. He always regarded Kim Young-min as a rat who stole his position. It would be strange if he could help him. There is also Sunny in the team. As Lee Soo-man's niece, he has always wondered what she is doing here, and whether there is any conspiracy. Everything is so messy now. It seems that I have to go back and make some plans. Zhao Jixi didn't even bother to say hello to the uncle, who was looking at him. He smiled disdainfully. Even if he knew his plan, what would happen? He used an open plot. The entanglement of interests would turn people against each other, not to mention the parents behind the girls. They would support the children to do business. Looking at the girls who returned to the hotel, Tian suddenly felt that they became a little strange. Especially the youngest Zhou, her arrogance, her strength, and her disdain just now. Compared with the Zhou she knew at ordinary times, she felt like two different people, and the content of the conversation of the girls over there was actually business matters. You know, they usually talk about dance steps, movements, and singing skills. Now they are talking about how to do publicity, enhance the brand value of their own agents, and how to consume their own popularity. Let more people go into their stores to buy things, and target which consumer age group as the main direction. And these people didn't even plan to talk about what happened just now, and they all took it for granted. This made her very angry. Enough. Do you know what you are doing? Do you have any intention of telling me what happened just now? Her angry shout made several girls stop and look at Tian with a puzzled look, not knowing why she was so angry. Such a relieved thing is that they have been fantasizing about it for a long time, and now they finally did it. What is there to be angry about? Sister, didn't Director Park apologize for what happened just now? What else is there to say? Yuna said. Yes, what the youngest said just now is really relieved. We are people of such status and position now, and we have to be taught a lesson by a small director like her. It's ridiculous. Kwan Yuri also said. Yes, we have to be tough. These little shrimps bullied us in the past, but now it's not the same as before. We are not just simple little artists. Kim Hyo-in also said relieved. Maknae is worthy of being someone who wants to be a diplomat. It's really great. Maknae, sister really likes you. Haha. Sunny also said, and hugged Suzanne, and wanted to kiss her. But her expression behind the hug was a little unnatural, as if she was thinking about something. Yeah, I agree. The youngest is so amazing. I never thought she had such ability. Huang Miang also said. Then Xiaoying and others also praised Suzanne with a natural and excited look on their faces. Stop, what are you talking about? To vent your anger? To be strong? Tian looked at the girls with a sad and ridiculous face. Do you know what the company will think about what happened just now? What impact will this have on us in the future? Haven't you considered these things? Sister, what you said is very strange. Didn't we just fight back against a small director? You should know that our company will be able to make a profit soon. After paying back Jessopper's money, the company will belong to us completely. Yes, Jessopper also said that he would support us in opening a few stores to expand our market share in developed cities in Korea. Yes, sister, you don't have to worry about that director. I think we can fight for our own interests now. With our own company as a foundation, we can discuss the contract. The girl's words made Tian realize that they really changed. But she didn't make any changes. Are they still talking on the same channel? Are they still sisters in the same world? This makes her and you doubt. Can money really change people so much? We don't need to worry about the company's affairs. We were afraid before, because if we stopped our entertainment activities, we wouldn't be able to earn a penny. Then all the hard work over the years would be wasted, and we might even have a miserable life in the future. It's different now. Even if we are no longer stars, we can be a wealthy boss. The dividends alone every year are much more than what we make now. We don't have to work so hard. We have the support of Jessopper and the relationship with Sunny. The Korean agency qualification is also designated as ours. In this case, what is there to worry about? Yes, sister, you don't need to be afraid. I think what the youngest did today was right. We just have to adapt to our different identities. In the future, I will never give these little people the chance to give me the cold shoulder. I will also not let those middle-aged women directors who are jealous of our beauty find reasons to teach us a lesson, because we don't need to be afraid of them anymore. Chapter 852. Before going home, thank you for your support. PS. Today, Pig Brazil received 11 votes at once, which was quite a surprise. I seldom read the position of book reviews usually, mainly because I'm afraid of being scolded and affecting my mood for writing. I just read it today. I was about to go to sleep while writing just now, but after reading it, I was actually very energetic. I wrote more than 1,700 words at once, which can be said to be a clear mind. I have written a lot of foreign farms recently, but I don't want to be the same as them. I have been thinking about how to be different. I have revised a lot of the original outline, which made me stuck for a few days, but now I have finally gotten through it. I will go back to the United States soon. Thank you for your support. Thank you. Jay Chou went to the concert of Girls' Generation the next day. There were tens of thousands of people at the scene. You can feel what a huge crowd is at a glance. It looks like waving hands to form clouds and sweat to form rain. Girls' Generation has already gained considerable popularity in China. At least the very good sales of concert tickets are a good proof. Most of the people who come here are their fans, and some are fans of the guests who come to support their idols. This is why they hope to invite guests to the concert. Obviously, this trick can give many people a reason to come in, and then pay for the tickets, and make a little contribution to them. Among the people who come from the Korean SM company, there are many Society of Jesuses who are fans of China, but since Han Zheng left the team, the number of Chinese fans has also decreased a lot. Chinese people sometimes support Korean groups, and the most important thing is that there is a member of their own country in it. Although there are many girls and boys who will still support enthusiastically regardless of whether there are Chinese people in it. But this part of people is at least a minority after all. As Chinese people, compared with the surrounding small countries, they all have a sense of superiority. Small countries have developed economies, but they still have to look at the face of China before. Now that the country is rich and strong, they still have to watch. Many small countries can't stand it and think that finding an American godfather is awesome. Little did they know that they would be dealt with sooner or later. When they had no money, it only took a few dozen days to beat Vietnam. Now that they have money and people, it is a piece of cake to kill them. But the most awesome thing about China is to settle accounts after the autumn, so they have to jump around for a few days first. Most people who like Korea and Japan are just playing around. Of course, it is not ruled out that there are some who are too crazy. After all, compared with the population of China, the proportion is still very low. And according to the thinking of most people born in the 1980s in China, we only like you because we give you face. Even if we don't give you face, you still have to smile and bow to us. If those bastards dare to do anything, they will turn around and curse at those Koreans and Japanese, and they will not be soft at all. So if there is a Chinese in the group, it will be more motivated to support them. Just like when Dao went to play in the NBA before. If Dao was not in it, most people really wouldn't watch NBA. Jay Chou's position was at the front, closest to the girls, and next to him were several employees of Greenland Company, almost all of whom were standing by with respectful faces. They all regretted buying tickets so close to Jay Chou. Now they felt uncomfortable standing. Several Chinese employees saw their Korean colleagues and felt the same way. Greenland China branch is divided into 4 groups. One is the people of Greenland chairman Lee Jun. Now he is also the representative of the China branch. Another is the people of the Park brothers, the directors of the company, and the director Lee Xuan. Finally, the most powerful director, Jay Chou's people. The 2 agents in power and the general manager in the company have to give them face. Now these 2 people are standing here. Although they are both Chinese, they feel a little uncomfortable standing with the leaders. One is in charge of financial audits and the other is in charge of personnel audits. The work is only busy for a few days every month, and it depends on the situation. The accountants from the United States will go in for joint audits. It's easy for them to say. Jay Chou didn't pay attention to these. Reality told him not to expect the female white-collar workers in the company to look like those in TV dramas, and they all look good. He has seen several girls with glasses now. They are just average looking. This is because the company is Korean capital, so the face obsess complex is more serious. The girls at the concert showed off their long legs and wore high heels. They looked really attractive. However, after a few male artists came out, he was quite disgusted. After the concert in the evening, Jay Chou went to dinner with a few girls. Tien found a reason not to go. The children wanted to say something to her, but there was no good opportunity, which led to a lot of incidents. But Jay Chou seemed to be able to feel that there seemed to be a gap between them. There was no business talk at the dinner table. Everyone talked and laughed, talked about travel and food, etc. It was a very relaxing meal, especially Jay Chou, who had eaten several meals with the goddesses of several Oticus dreams, and it still felt very good. The concert was over, and it was time for him to do serious things. First, he went to see his 2 sisters, and then went back to his hometown to take his parents and daughter to the United States. The 2 elders in the family went to the United States and delayed their visit. As a son, he had to come back to pick them up in person. It would be fine in the future, but now he mainly hoped that his parents would come to live in his house. He really wanted to live there. In his previous life, his parents had never lived in his house. They said that they had a place to live, so they would not go to his place. It would be easier for them to get along with their wife in the future if they formed a habit. The house was bought by the 2 elders. They put all their life savings into it. The family also built a store for him to collect rent, to ensure that he would not starve after the 2 of them went there. At that time, he was a complete homebody. He was annoyed when he went out once. What he did and said was a little unfilial. When he really wanted to repent, there was no chance. This life was a reward from God for his good luck. When he came back, he was still thinking about how to play and have fun. But as time passed, he wanted to resolve some of his worries more and more. Speaking of which, he also knew that his parents liked to stay in China. There were acquaintances and old friends here. They didn't have to worry about money or troubles, and they lived happily every day. Mom just wanted to chat with people and play mahjong every day or tease her grandchildren. Dad liked to meet his comrades, go fishing, play cards, etc. The elderly actually don't like change. Maybe young people would say that they are rigid in their thinking, but they think that they can live more freely according to the way they want. Zhou did think a lot on the way to meet his third and fourth sisters. But if he was asked to live in China, he couldn't let go of the colorful world in the United States. He was reluctant to give up his influence in the United States, the political power he worked hard to build, and the racial power he worked hard to unite. If he returned to China to live for a long time, he couldn't guarantee the stability there all the time. Unless he just wanted to be a rich man with some money, then there was nothing to say. But he didn't like the feeling of people who had to find a big leg to hold on to and let others come forward to help you solve problems when they got into trouble. Zhou really thinks that people who are complacent, even though their fate is in the hands of others, are a bit stupid. People can help you for a while, but can they help you for a lifetime? Even the powerful grandfather will die one day, and then you don't know how the people who have been watching you for so long will divide you up. Zhou just wants to be strong. If there is something to be solved, he will also exchange some conditions with others. It is not considered asking others to do things, and he still lacks a sense of security. After careful calculation, the money-based system of the United States is suitable for him. Private property is sacred and inviolable, and that is the system he needs. The official-based system of the Celestial Empire makes people with some money live here like a sword on their heads, which may fall and stab them at any time. Life needs to go on. Since he knows where it is suitable for him, he will not hesitate. Anyway, it doesn't matter where it is for him, as long as it is good. The fourth sister and the third sister are still working hard. In addition to making money, they also realize their self-worth, get recognition from society, and satisfy their inner vanity. Anyway, when everyone has money, they will always pursue things that have nothing to do with money to satisfy their inner emptiness. Of course, there are still some kids in the world, like Zhou, who are rich and still trying to make more money. Who told him to like that stuff? Plus, there are still a lot of things to buy, and he still owes more than $1 billion. How can he not like money? He was quite stressed when he went back to see his third and fourth sisters this time. There were so many reports about what he had done recently. They couldn't possibly not know. Some things were not said on the phone, but it didn't mean they wouldn't say them when they met. This time he went there ready to tell people who knew that things were always full of surprises. The two people didn't say anything about him for what he did. Instead, they looked at him with a strange expression and said that when they got home, someone would naturally deal with him for them. With just this one sentence, he knew that it was bad. The second sister at home didn't seem to be very capable, and he probably couldn't hide it from the two elders. Zhou sat in their office, looking at the two people carefully. Do you want to go back to our hometown together, and then we can go to the United States to play for a few days? Why? Want to bribe us? The third sister looked at his face with interest and said, how could that be possible? I just want to invite you to have fun together and reunite as a family. Zhou couldn't admit it. Don't confuse what I think of you with the image in your mind. Brother is such a noble person. How could you think he is so dirty? So sad. I didn't say anything. The third sister looked at him strangely. It was just a joke. Do you have to take it so seriously? It seems that you are really guilty. When she said this, she also gave the fourth sister an affirmative sentence. Third sister, stop teasing Zhou. The fourth sister rolled her eyes at the unsatisfied third sister and said, you'd better be ready to tell your family that we can easily pass this stage now, but it's up to you to pass the stage with mom and dad. Sister, you are just teasing me. Zhou replied depressedly. Caca. Someone suddenly knocked on the door outside the office. The third sister looked at it and said, come in. Chapter 853. Bitch Zeng. Chen is scared. Her secretary came in and took a look at the people in the office. One man she knew was the boss's younger brother, and there were two black men not far away, followed by two white girls, who were really as beautiful as the colleagues had just said. What's the matter? The third sister asked. Oh. The girl came back to her senses and immediately reported, Mr. Wu's wedding plan. He hopes you can go there. The girl's parents, that is, the mother-in-law, hope to make some changes to some details. The third sister nodded, frowned, and said, well, I see. You go out first. I'll be there soon. The secretary walked out, and the third sister continued, "This bunch of local tyrants, if it weren't for the high money, I wouldn't be too lazy to do it again and again." What's the matter? A local tyrant. The original arrangement was already good, but he felt that the fleet was not luxurious enough, so he wanted to change it. Well, change it, as long as he can solve it, we don't care. Then number 1. Be careful with your words. Damn, she's my mom too. We all have the same mom. Who are you scolding? Zhou Jixi interrupted her and said, "Don't talk nonsense. Go away. Are you going to listen to me or not?" The third sister patted Zhou Jixi and said, "If you don't listen, I'll suffocate you to death." Zhou Jixi deliberately annoyed her and said, "Hurry up and do your own thing. I'm going to fly back to my hometown today. Something has already urged me in the United States. I can't play anymore. Bad kid, wait, I'll come back to deal with you and me." The third sister took the folder, pointed at him, and said a few words, then immediately left the office and went to greet the rich. He looked at the third sister with amusement. "How much money is it? Why are you so enthusiastic about it?" 10 million. Celestial currency. The fourth sister said, "Oh my god, are you getting married? Or are you giving away money?" Zhou Jixi was immediately surprised, looking at the fourth sister with an incredible face and said, "Why do you care whether they give away money or get married? We just need to make money." They said that they only want the best and the most expensive. Cheap ones can't reflect their value. If it weren't for the fact that we are one of the most expensive companies in Zhonghai wedding, they wouldn't have come to us, said the fourth sister. Damn, what a life. Zhou Jixi shook his head ridiculously. "I'm a rich man. Why do I feel that this thing is so rustic? TSK. It's true. Even a super rich man like me doesn't understand this world of rich people. How much is it true? This is what he cares about." The third brother said that at least half of his money would be deducted. As long as it is an exclusive design and can't be found outside, the price will be raised and expensive. I designed several wedding dresses for them and charged them hundreds of thousands. No matter whether she can wear it or not, the exclusive design can be taken back and collected. Awesome. Fourth sister, I didn't expect that you, a profiteer, are really powerful when you do it. What kind of profiteer? Your sister is at least a famous wedding dress designer in Zhonghai. I design exclusively and work hard for several days. If I don't get hundreds of thousands, I will not live up to his title of rich. The fourth sister said. Forget it. Who are we? You used to design wedding dresses, which is just designing clothes. You only changed to designing wedding dresses recently. You changed your career halfway. Hey, don't hit me. Don't hit me. Zhou Jixi immediately started to beat around the bush with the fourth sister. When the two were playing inside, the secretary came again. Without knocking on the door, the fourth sister directly asked someone to come in, and she also quickly tidied up her image. What's wrong? What's the matter? Mrs. Wu said that she wanted to ask you to design a few more wedding dresses. She said that she would wear one for the banquet in Zhonghai and another for the banquet in her hometown. In addition, her parents are divorced, and the two sides will not be together. They are not short of money, so they just hold 2 more banquets. This wedding dress cannot be repeated. She said money is not a problem. Okay, money is not a problem, then I have no problem, said the fourth sister with a smile. Sister, you were not like this before. How did you get into the money hole? Zhou Jixi asked curiously. I got into it. It was given to me for free. If I don't accept the money, I will be struck by lightning. Open it quickly. I'm going to make money. I'll treat you to dinner later. No, you two are busy. I just came to see you. I'll fly back to my hometown later. Zhou Jixi saw that the fourth sister wanted to say something and pushed her to the door quickly and said while pushing, I really have to hurry. I'm not kidding. There are a lot of things to do in the United States and I can't delay. Okay, don't push. I get it. Look how anxious you are. I didn't see you anxious when I was playing the other day. You are a person who can do it. The fourth sister said, okay, I won't send you off. You have your own hands and feet. Walk to the airport by yourself. Hurry up, Zhou Jixi said, waving his hand as if impatiently. You brat. The fourth sister said, and almost walked away. The secretary wanted to laugh, but when she saw Zhao Jixi was still there, she immediately put away her smile and hurriedly followed the fourth sister. Zhao Jixi also left the wedding company and went directly to the airport. On the way, he booked the nearest flight and flew directly to Shanghai City. "Hey, Dad, I'll be in Shanghai soon. Please find a few cars. I have a few people here, and I guess your car can't fit." Zhao Jixi called his dad and told him, "Oh, okay, it'll be here in about 2 hours. I'll call you when I get there." After saying a few words, he hung up the phone. It happened that they arrived at the airport at the right time, and they didn't have to wait for long before they were able to board the plane. Shanghai is also a big city, and a few foreigners did not attract much attention, but sometimes people always like to look at them. Especially a man wearing a hat and a mask, who kept staring at him. It made Zhao Jixi a little creepy, and he was still thinking in his heart, is this man a pervert? He is not afraid of homosexuality, but he is afraid that he is a pervert, which will make him sick for several days. Several people got on the plane, but what Zhao Jixi didn't expect was that the man was not far away from him. When he sat down, the man walked over and even deliberately came in front of him to look at him twice. Zhao Jixi was a little angry. What the hell is this pervert doing? He immediately grabbed his collar, pulled the face with a mask that was not far from his face, and pointed his other hand at him and said, "Hey, man, do you want to be beaten?" "No, no, no, you misunderstood. I'm not that," it said in English. The man was caught and couldn't break free, and several bodyguards had already stood up, so he suddenly became nervous. Chapter 854, Hooking Up with Zhao Jixi? Zhao Jixi was already full of black lines. Damn, I think I just said man is English. Is this guy so speechless? Do you think I'm kidding you? Zhao Jixi said in a low voice. I'm speaking Chinese. What the hell English? The man was a little nervous, and Zhao Jixi didn't react until he said that. Yes, you are speaking Chinese. Yes, how could I forget? The magazine also said that he is from FJ province. He grew up in China since he was a child, so of course he can speak Chinese. Zhao Jixi knew that this scumbag guy really wanted to be beaten. He was just playing with him. I see you don't know what I'm talking about, but I think you must know what this is. He said that he had raised his fist as big as a sandbag. Gudu. The man compared their sizes and then looked at Zhao Jixi's sturdy body, which was not much worse than that of a muscular man. No, no, no. As he said that, he immediately pulled down his face with a mask. Look, does my face look familiar? Do you feel like you've seen it somewhere? He looks like a good guy. The last sentence was an affirmative one. In fact, just as he said, Zhao Jixi really knew him. He couldn't ignore such a mean man. Bitch Zeng, Chenyan. Although he felt something was wrong, he was still happy and hard. No, he responded. Yes, it's me. It's me. It's really me. When his face smiled, coupled with his crooked teeth, Zhao Jixi felt that this kind of meanness was really not something that ordinary people could have. And after having it, a man who is not annoying can be called a mean person. Superb. But, does this guy have to be so shameless? Does he have to be so creepy? Zhao Jixi's hand holding his collar had loosened, and the man took the opportunity to grab his arm. This coupled with the coquettish expression on his face, he just wanted to say, brother, do you know me very well? Chen, whose mouth corners changed with joy. I didn't expect such a rich man to know me. Oh my god, I didn't expect my fame to be so big and spread abroad. This life is really too dreamy. Hand, take it away, hand. Zhao Jixi pointed at his hand that was holding his arm. Chen, who pinched it from time to time. I don't know if he felt his muscles. None of this matters. You are a grown man, holding his arm and shaking it. Many eyes on the plane looked over. The flight attendants who wanted to come over to see what was going on stopped, looking at the two of them, and then looking at Zhao Jixi's eyes. She deeply said the word pity from her eyes. I guess she must be saying in her heart, the handsome guys are all gay, what should they do? At this moment, his face was full of tears, and the silent feeling of grievance rose inexplicably. Take your hand away. Oh, so exciting. I didn't expect that I would grab the arm of a world famous rich man. The muscles are really strong. With a look of emotion, he pinched the air twice, as if he was savoring it. Sure enough, Zhou Jixi was right. The jerk was really pinching his muscles. A man pinched another man's muscles, and even stroked them in the middle. My god, Zhou Jixi got goosebumps all over his body. Well, idol, my idol, I didn't expect to meet you. I'm proud that FJ can produce people like you and me. Stop, just be proud of me. You go first. No, I'm also very proud. I remember that rainy season in summer. I went to Zhonghai. Speak human language. Idol, I'm a human. Of course I speak human language. Chen Yan is a very thick-skinned person. Even though this is not a first-class cabin, he still has a way to disgust people. He changed seats with the person next to Zhou Jixi and now sits next to him. But he is really not annoying. Are you going to Shanghai? Yes. My family is in Shanghai, and I'm now affiliated with Zhonghai Drama Theater. Chen Yan finally became more serious. It seems that the role he played has a deep influence on him, or he has this side. Then he is a FJ person? I just said it. Okay. I'm dizzy. Chen Yan said. Oh. I didn't pay attention to what you said just now. Zhou Jixi had a good chat with this man, who was 2 years older than him. The most important thing was that he was not so restrained when he saw him, so he was relaxed when chatting. Ever since he became rich, there was always an aura around him that made people feel vague. This could be due to his self-confidence, or it could be due to his inferiority complex, so he imagined it. But these are not the main points. The important thing is that many people find it difficult to talk to him and say hello to him, or they dare not. He was not so restrained when chatting with Chen Yan, but what Zhou Jixi didn't know was that Chen Ke's back was soaked with sweat, and his armpits even wet the lining, and the sweat made him feel sticky. Fortunately, he finally got in touch with this rich man in these 2 times, and with his bitch temperament, he also got Zhou Jixi's private phone number. He couldn't believe this dreamlike result. I didn't expect that being mean would have this benefit. Since Zhou Jixi took a big step here, he has become more and more like that. The two of them are also fellow villagers, both from prefecture level cities under the jurisdiction of FZ City. They are not too far apart. They speak the local dialect of their hometown and have many of the same words, but the degree of tongue twisting is different. Zhou Jixi's strong learning ability and memory burst out, and he quickly learned a lot of Shanghai dialect. Although he still used his hometown dialect when talking to Chen Yan, at least they were very close. This also made Chen Yan sigh. He is indeed the legendary rich man. His brain is much stronger than ordinary people. Young people now prefer Weibo or Space. Zhou Jixi also plays these. Chen Yan did not have a Tomcat account, and after knowing that this was Zhou Jixi's product, he registered one without saying a word, and said that, although his power was small, he would definitely help him promote this social software. Zhou Jixi was happy to hear this, and the young man was happy, and if he liked you, then it was necessary to take a photo together as a souvenir. They took photos and selfies together, and then uploaded them to social networks such as WeChat, Weibo, and Tomcat. The 2 heads were squeezed together, and Zhou Jixi also made a cool Korean scissor hand gesture. Then there were a few photos of ghost faces. Compared with Chen Yan's face, that looked like Linzin, it was really far behind. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 855. The most beautiful thing is that we are still together as first love. After getting off the plane, Zhou Jixi was still chatting with Chen Yan. The boy was lucky. It was a girl who came to pick him up. She was very pretty. When they got closer, she introduced her to Zhou Jixi. Her last name was Zhou, and her name was similar to that of a female star. Of course, these were not the most important things. He just felt sincere admiration for these 2 legendary early lovers who later got married. After decades of life, being able to walk through this life hand in hand with the first love may be a different kind of romance. Did Chen Yan fall in love with someone else? Zhou Jixi couldn't help his curiosity and couldn't help asking the girl. Then you have to ask him. I don't know when this boy has cheated mentally. The girl seemed to believe that this boy had always been chaste for her. Your kind of love is really enviable. Zhao Jixi laughed dumbly. Chen Yan held his girlfriend's hand. Of course, I'm a good man, Chen Yan, and my quality is guaranteed. Haha, you are so conceited. The girl twisted him and said. Zhao Jixi was very envious, but it was a pity that he couldn't do it himself. When he was young and frivolous, he always thought that if the old one was gone, there would be a new one. If the old one didn't go, the new one wouldn't come. He didn't have many girlfriends, but he changed them several times. As for what his first love was, he couldn't remember it clearly. He only remembered who he gave his virginity to. It seemed that it was not a good memory. He did a lot of embarrassing things. The most profound memory since his rebirth was seeing his ex-girlfriend posting pictures of her husband and children on the space. He felt cold in his heart when he saw it. He always thought that he didn't use condoms or take medicine, and he had a child. Now he has no shortage of women and children. Unfortunately, he no longer has the intention to get married. People say that they regretted their previous lives, and they especially want to realize them in this life. But he really didn't regret not getting married in his previous life. Especially when he saw those who were divorced and complained about their marriage. He felt lucky that he didn't get married. So it doesn't matter whether he gets married in this life or not. If he really wants a child, there are women who want to help him have one. That Wu PC has good genes. She is tall, not stupid, and healthy. She is really a good material for being a mother. Zhao Ji. Father Zhao saw his son and called from a distance. Dad. Zhao Jixi also shouted happily. His father looked energetic and healthy. He had the illusion of being powerful when he walked, and his voice was even louder. Dad, Dad. Behind the father, followed a little kid wearing an Angry Birds children's suit, with a cute red hat on the upper body, the same color pants on the lower body, a pair of furry shoes on the feet, and a cartoon Angry Bird on the instep. The little girl ran faster than Father Zhao, and ran towards Zhao Jixi while shouting. The female bodyguard beside her also sped up, and followed beside her, and another person also patrolled the surroundings to see if there was anything dangerous. In a few seconds, Niu was in front of him, and Zhao Jixi picked her up with a smile. Bo. He kissed her loudly, and looked at her daughter happily. My dear daughter, do you miss daddy? Yes, Niu hasn't seen daddy for a long time. I can see daddy taking me to buy dolls in my dreams at night. He also made a lot of delicious food for Niu. Second aunt also said that Niu chewed her hand at night with a mouthful of saliva. You girl. Zhao Jixi was happy to hear that and kissed her again. Dad will make delicious food for you when we go back, and I guarantee you will be full. I want to eat lion's head, sweet and sour pork ribs, lychee meat. Niu counted the dishes she wanted to eat with her fingers. Her little hands were pouting, and she looked very cute. Chen Hu and his girlfriend, who were standing next to Zhao Jixi, were already a little stunned. This child looks so big. He doesn't look even older than me. How come my daughter is so big? Chen Hu looked at the interaction between the two people. They should be biological children. Otherwise there would be no such true feelings. But I remember that Zhao Jixi in the magazine seemed very young. The child is so old. Rich people are rich people. They are not comparable to ordinary people. Zhao Jixi followed for a while and saw Chen Yan and his girlfriend still standing by. It was polite to introduce his daughter to them. Holding Niu, he looked in the direction of the two people. This is my daughter Niu. What a cute child. Zukin, a girl, couldn't stand cuteness. Niu looked very cute in this outfit, plus she was also very pretty. Add the two together, if she wasn't still entangled in the age issue, she would have been fascinated by Niu's cuteness. This is Aunt Zhou, and that's your Uncle Chen. Zhao Jixi then introduced his daughter. Hello, auntie. Hello, uncle. The little girl said crisply while looking at the two. So good. Zukin couldn't help but reach out and gently pinch Niu in Zhao Jixi's arms. So cute, auntie, give me a kiss. Seeing that the child didn't resist, she kissed her, and immediately both sounded. Both women laughed. Chen Hu also thought the child was cute. Uncle, give me a kiss too. Before he could even stretch her head over, Niu shook her head like a rattle. No, I don't want it. Chenhu was confused. Was it because I wasn't handsome enough? He was actually pretty. Grandma told dad that girls can't let boys kiss them casually. Niu won't let uncle kiss her. The little girl said to Chenhu proudly, taking advantage of Zhao Jixi's height, with her nose raised high. She looked like she would not negotiate, even if you begged her. The cute little coke action resolved his embarrassment. It was just that the words really made people feel funny, but they also liked it. Not to mention that the child was cute. She was also so cute. I really wanted to have a daughter like this. At this time, both of them expressed this idea and looked at each other. Suddenly, they both felt guilty. They wanted to have a child, but they were not ready to have one. Zhao Jixi saw the little actions of the two people, laughed in his heart, and said, okay, if you like, you two can also make one. The sooner you have a child, the sooner you can enjoy it. Look at me now, I have a child, and I don't need to rush to get married. Dad and mom don't urge you, and there is a little cutie in your arms. This fun is not enjoyed by ordinary people. I won't have a child with him. Zukin turned her head and said a little arrogantly. Chen Yan was anxious. Why don't you have a child with me? Last time, didn't you say you wanted a child? Or did you say wait, why don't you have a child with me now? I won't have a child with you. Humph. Still arrogant. Okay, I will have a child in the future. Chen Yan, you too. If someone wants to have a child, just give one. It's not like you lose weight. Zhao Jixi also joked with him. While the two were talking, Zukin wanted to hug the child. As a result, seeing Zhao Jixi holding it, as if it was very relaxed, she thought it didn't weigh much. But she almost sprained her arm while holding her. Fortunately, Zhao Jixi was sharp-eyed and immediately held her daughter in his arms. Zukin took over and held her with difficulty. Niu, how old is this child? She's so heavy. Zukin couldn't stand it after holding her for 2 times. Her hands were too sore. She should be 8 years old this year. This child is like me. She can eat, but not get fat. Zhao Jixi didn't hold his daughter anymore and said while touching her cute little head. 8 years old. This child is really real. Chen Yan said awkwardly. He was not allowed to kiss her. The little girl didn't object to her uncle holding her up, but thought she could play the airplane game. Unfortunately, Chen Yan was not strong enough and ran out of strength after lifting her up. She liked this game very much. When she was a child, she saw those children with fathers being lifted up high by their fathers and smiling happily on top. She was very envious at that time. Her grandfather was already very old and she couldn't play when she grew up, so she could only hide her envy. Later, she also had a father, although this father came unexpectedly and had never taken care of her when she was a child. But she was really happy that she also had a father. Having everything she has now was the happiest thing. She had this mentality and she couldn't express it, but it was exactly what it said. Although the game of lifting her up high felt a bit childish, she still liked it the most. When her father lifted her up high, she always smiled and kept saying in her heart, I also have a father, and I have someone who can lift me up. Zukin didn't care about Chen Han's embarrassment. She wanted to take advantage of the topic now. I told you to exercise more often. Look, Jeezy has been holding him for so long and nothing happened, but you can't hold it after just 2 lifts. With a look of disdain on her face, she finally said, go exercise tomorrow, or don't get on my bed. Ah. Do you have to be so cruel? Do you want to? No. If you do this, how can we play together in the future? Chen Hu immediately learned what he learned from Zhao Jixi and said it back to Zukin. Are you still going to tease me? No, I'll exercise tomorrow, I promise. Chen Hu never said anything, like he couldn't bend in front of his girlfriend. At the critical moment, he had to bend, and he had to bend beautifully and forcefully. Zhao Jixi looked at the 2 childhood sweethearts, and it would be a lie to say that he didn't envy them. It was just that he couldn't get such things. Exercise more is good. Look at my body, it's all the result of exercise. He posed in a strong posture, like a fitness competition. My dad is the best. Uncle Chen Hu, you have to exercise too, otherwise my dad can knock you down with 1 hand. No, not 1 hand, 2 fingers are enough. Niu said in a little adult tone. Haha. Your dad only needs one word to make me fall down. Chen Hu teased the girl. The little girl couldn't hold it anymore and immediately turned around and asked Zhao Jixi curiously, Dad, when did you say that uncle fell down with just one word? Don't listen to Uncle Chen's nonsense. What he meant was that you just need to ask Uncle Lei Meng to come up and you don't have to do anything and he will be knocked out by Uncle Lei Meng. Chapter 856. The son is no longer under the control of his father. When Chen Hu and Zhao Jixi separated at the airport, they were still envious. There was not only envy, but also a lot of gossip. I just calculated it. Didn't Jixi have a child at the age of 16? You just calculated it now? I just thought of it. Chen Hu said with disdain. But what he was greeted with was a burst of abuse from his girlfriend. You look like that. You are smart. You are smart. You are smart. I'm really stupid. Chen Hu was very perceptive and immediately began to regret that he could not control his mouth. I was stupid at the beginning. At the beginning? What happened at the beginning? Zukin asked sinisterly. No. Go easy on me, my wife. Zhao Jixi could not see the young couple showing their love. He had already sat in his father's car and the family drove to their home. Niu sat in the back with Raymond and a female bodyguard, and he sat in the front with his father. Father Zhao did not want the bodyguard to drive. He preferred to drive himself. Just now he was asked to sit in front and chat with him. Are you really richer than the richest man in China? Father Zhao asked after a while. Zhao Jixi was still worried about what his father was going to talk to him about, but he breathed a sigh of relief when he heard the question. If we calculate it by assets, I'm a little better than Uncle Zhang in terms of the literal meaning. Uncle Zhang? Do you know him? Father Zhao was a little surprised. I have met him twice. His daughter is my friend. We had a good chat at several events held by Chinese and Chinese. So after meeting, I introduced him to Sister Li and called him uncle. Sister Li is the daughter of the richest man. Zhao Jixi explained. You are right. When you are young, you will not suffer any loss when you go out to recognize a younger person. This is really philosophical. It is indeed the experience summed up in life. I really know him. Father Zhao did not know the richest man in the United States or the world, but he knew the richest man in mainland China. In the past, he thought his son was just rich, but now he suddenly feels that his son has grown up. The interpersonal relationships his son has are far beyond his imagination. I know them. There are many wealthy people from China going abroad. The California area where I live is home to a large number of Chinese immigrants. Only New York can be compared to it. When wealthy people from China go there, they will participate in some activities. As time goes by, we get to know each other. Are those who go there also those wealthy people listed in Forbes? Who doesn't have a little gossip? And Zhao's father is no exception. Not many. There are so many people in the world, and there are many rich people. Those who are not on the list don't mean they are not powerful. Power and wealth. Power and wealth. Some of them are presidents of large companies, and some of them have power that is no less than those rich people. Don't think that those who are on the list are powerful, with how much wealth and how much money in their pockets. They don't have as much money as us, but they control those super foundations and have dozens of times more money than us. They are really awesome. Like our old Joe now, the Steve Jobs of the Apple mobile phone. They are not ranked higher than your son and me on the list, but they are still the bosses. Your son and I still have to mix with others. Of course, this is not the kind of underworld. They have connections, and they also have face and influence in government agencies. These are invisible on the surface. Forbes has a rich list, but also a power list. Those people know very well that being rich is one thing, and having power is not useless without money. Besides, my assets are just in name only. I don't have much money to spend. Billions of dollars are actually stocks, shares, companies, and real estate. I still owe the bank more than $1 billion. That's called being rich, but who can I tell about the money I owe? If the stock market crashes, and the game is no longer popular, my money will be gone in a minute. What's in name only is empty. Only things that can maintain their value are real. Father Zhao was already scared by his son's debt. It was written in the magazine, but he was confused by the numbers behind it and automatically ignored the debt. Billions of dollars, owing more than $1 billion. Can that be considered a problem? He asked with some concern. Do you still owe more than $1 billion? Well, it's not the right time to sell stocks and shares now. Although they have increased many times, they can still grow. In addition, owning stocks also gives you a say in the company. Sometimes you don't have this thing, but when you need it, it's really useful. So I just pay some interest every year and use the money first. When will I sell the stocks and pay the money back? You little brat, you still owe so much money. If the stocks collapse, what will you pay back? Why don't you pay it back now while you can? Dad said this loudly, but Zhou could still feel the concern in his tone. He didn't rush to explain anything. He waited for a while and then said in a steady tone, don't worry, the situations I mentioned will basically not happen. If they do happen, it will be a global financial collapse or the end of the world. I mortgaged the real estate to the bank. Even if it is all gone, it has nothing to do with me. I can't force a penny of money. At most, the mortgaged real estate will become the bank's. This is written into the contract. There is nothing to worry about. Seeing that his father was about to say something, Zhou quickly explained, I have already left a way out. Even if it is all gone, I still have a lot of land. It is enough for my son and your grandson to eat for several lifetimes. It is the same as saying that a son is no longer under the control of his mother when he grows up, and it is the same as saying that a son is no longer under the control of his father when he grows up. This is the feeling that Zhou's father has now. His son has grown up, he has his own ideas, and he has left a way out for himself. The things that he, as a father, is worried about, his son has also thought about them a long time ago. This also makes him, as a father, feel a little frustrated. Plus, I have so many friends in the United States now, and these imagined things can't happen. You and my mother can just enjoy your life in peace, and there is no problem in enjoying a lifetime of wealth. Zhou's confident words really made his father feel at ease now. The car was silent for a while, and then Zhou's father said, you know it in your heart, and I, as a father, won't say much, so as not to hear too much noise. You are doing well now. It is good for you to know more when you are away from home. Zhou felt much more at ease now. He didn't care that his father continued to teach him, which seemed like useless words like talking too much. He smiled and flattered his father. Isn't this your good teaching? I didn't have that kind of insight before, so I didn't really understand what you said. Now that I have some experience, I understand a lot more. He said this just to make up for some regrets in his previous life. He understood what his father said, but he just couldn't do it. As a person born in the 80s, to be honest, who can't say a few words about the truth, there are a lot of philosophical and life experience words on the internet, and they are much better than his father. This also caused him to be very disdainful of what his parents said. The consequences have been experienced in the previous life, and it is better to make up for it in this life. If you really understood, kid, you wouldn't do so many things. Although the father was pleased, he still said with a stern face, that's right, I haven't eaten as much rice as you have. When I reach your age tomorrow, I will definitely not do things randomly. Oh, no, with your experience as a predecessor, I will definitely understand it in a few years, otherwise your experience will be wasted. Stop talking nonsense. I said you don't have this characteristic from me, and your mother doesn't have this habit either. How could I give birth to a kid like you who likes to talk nonsense? Don't say that, you know I'm really your son. Well, Zhou hadn't finished his joke when he encountered a red light. His father slapped him, and he shut up again. His father is the master of power. If he still wants to resist, he can only be an unfilial son. So, just bear with it. The car was still on the road. It would take another hour to go back to his hometown from Shanghai. It was not that fast. Silence replaced some time. His father looked at him and asked again, recently, many people in your family know about your affairs. What are your plans? Damn it. Zhou is most afraid of this kind of trouble. He hasn't even thought about it yet. What should he do now? He thinks it's best not to do anything. Whatever happens, happens. In the past, except for his brothers and sisters, He really hasn't asked anyone for help. Other than that, other people haven't asked their family for help either. So the relatives just get along like this. It's not very good, but there are no conflicts. For distant relatives, at most, when the children come out from their hometown to go to school, the parents will help them and ask them to come over for dinner during the holidays. There are no cold words, but warm hospitality. When people come back from holidays, they will bring some local specialties to their family. They are also polite to accept them. The help between relatives is very simple. There is no big deal, just some small things. Therefore, the philosophy of the Zhou family is to help in emergencies, but not in poverty. Don't get yourself into trouble and also drag down a bunch of relatives. If you can't bear it yourself, don't hurt others. Especially in this day and age, when you lend money to someone, you must make sure that the person is trustworthy. What kind of person is he asking for money? If someone is short of cash or needs to buy something big and needs a certain amount of money, as a relative or friend, you can help him if you have the ability. This is called emergency relief. If someone is living beyond his means and has no ability to repay and comes to borrow money, you should tell him tactfully that you don't want to lend him money. If someone is trustworthy and comes to borrow money in a hurry, your family will not make it difficult for him in his previous life. This kind of small matter should be lent by your family. If you help a relative or friend today and you ask him for help tomorrow, he will have nothing to say. The Zhou family will definitely not lend money to someone who is extremely poor and asks for money. If you lend money to him, it will be like throwing meat buns at a dog. It will go away and never come back. His money is not blown by the wind, so why? Just because he has money? Chapter 857, Dispute between father and son. Why am I not angry? The Zhou family treats diseases such as terminal illnesses, which cost hundreds of thousands of yuan. If the treatment is good, everyone will work together and try their best. If it does not affect the lives of each family, everyone will contribute a little. After all, people are made of flesh and blood. If they do not contribute a little, they will not be able to live with their conscience. But if it is too much, just solve it directly according to the previous statement. This is also what the grandfather of the Zhou family meant. Who doesn't want to live? These days, going to the hospital is a bottomless pit. Don't pay yourself and hurt a bunch of relatives. Knowing that you can't pay it back, you still drag others into the water. What kind of heart is this? No one can say for sure. Just because you want to live, you don't let others live? The Zhou family doesn't make sense. It's not that people are cruel, but that everyone has a hard time living. What Zhou Jixi remembers most is what his grandfather said in his previous life. If he has a terminal illness, and it costs a lot of money, no one should pay. It's better to let his children live a little easier with that money, so that he won't die, and leave a lot of debts, which will make him die uneasy. Fortunately, what he thought of never happened, and the Zhou family did not need to face the torture and choice of conscience. However, according to Zhou Jixi's thinking, even if his father mortgaged the house, he would have to rescue grandpa and support him for a few more days. It was not easy for grandpa Zhou to support several children in the Zhou family. Now that the children have grown up, if they can't let their old father enjoy a few more days, then the son and daughter's work will be in vain. But now, what can he do? He is not in the mood to give money to others. His money seems to come easily, but even if he gives it to others, he has to be happy to give it. If he is not happy to give it, he doesn't think he is so stupid. There are so many relatives. It's okay for his own direct relatives, but the Zhou family is not just this. If you count carefully, grandpa has brothers and sisters, which is a lot. At his mother's side, it's also a big family. Thinking about it makes my head hurt. He is not a person who likes to take responsibility. Now they are looking for him, it's better to send him to space to hide. Zhou Jixi was silent for a while before answering his father's question. I haven't thought about it yet. Let's talk about it later. When we go back, we will take you to the United States to live for a while. We will talk about these things when you come back to China next time. You little brat, I just said that you have made some progress, and now you are driving back to me again. Dad looked like he wanted to slap him a few times. I thought you had grown up and could take responsibility like a man, but you have shrunk back now, like a child of the Zhou family? What do you mean by shrinking back? Dad, what do you mean by that? Am I still your son? Zhao Jixi said incoherently. You deserve to be punished. Dad pointed at Zhao Jixi with one hand and said something, then went back to the steering wheel. I think I spoiled you too much when you were a child and let you do everything. Your mother spoiled you, and your sisters let you do whatever you want. Look at you now. If it weren't for some luck, you would be a bully at home. Zhao's father said angrily. Zhao Jixi was really speechless with this, and his father was right. No one knows a son better than his father. He was such a person in his previous life. His parents saw through him early on. They worked hard for half their lives to prepare a house for him and a store for him to live on. They did this so that he would not end up in a mess after the two of them died. Zhao Jixi is just as expected. He stays at home as a nerd, works as a 50-cent party member, and writes novels when he has time. The money he earns is just enough for his spending, not too much or too little. With the rent from the store, he can be considered a man who can get a wife. If he has a baby, his quality of life will be reduced. He can't even count on imported milk powder for his child to eat and drink. His future education will be the usual kind. He enjoys the country's free education and hopes that the teacher is conscientious and his son is willing to study hard. As for training for the gifted, learning hobbies, etc., forget it. Not as good as the best, but better than the worst. He is not in a hurry to get married, which is also interesting. Dad didn't finish his words so easily. Your sisters at home are more capable than you. Look at you. How could my Zhao family produce someone like you? Zhao Jixi has grown a lot in his life, and his vanity and face have also increased a lot. No one gives him face wherever he goes. When he meets a second generation or third generation person, he is still yelling at him. Now that his father is scolding him in front of him, his face is a little dark. He can't get over it. After all, he is a well-known person. How can he be scolded like this? And the scolding is a bit inexplicable. Why am I not a descendant of the Zhou family? Is my last name Zhou? My name was given to me by my grandfather. You say it's not, so it's not? If you have the guts, you shouldn't force my mother to give birth to a son. Well, he felt relieved, but as soon as Zhao Jixi said this, he regretted it. I have been reborn. How come I'm still ignorant? I was thinking well just now. According to the age of my previous life, I'm already so old. Why do I want to have a good time now? Zhao's father's face was so dark that it seemed like ink could drip out. He stretched out his hand to hit him. I will hit. Oh, my mouth. Zhao Jixi didn't wait for his father to say anything and directly admitted his mistake. No, Dad, I was wrong. Really wrong. Look at my big mouth. I can't control it. As soon as I said this, he ran out. I really didn't mean it. I understand what you said, but you have to listen to my explanation. Look, you are driving the car, and the safety of all the people in our car is in your hands. Don't be angry. Bear it, and listen to me first. Zhao Jixi risked his life to look at his father's red face when he got angry. He knew that he had really improved. At least when his father was angry, he dared to explain a few words and knew how to calm his father's anger with words. HMPH. Dad took his hand back. Zhao Jixi was not annoyed. Look, you just said that. I really haven't thought about what to do. That's why I said that. What should I say to you? Do you want to tell me how much money each household will get? My money is not blown by the wind. You are obsessed with money. Dad started to get angry again. He knew that Zhao Jixi had this problem. He had been calculating pennies since he was a child. It's not surprising that he is like this when he grows up. This is a bit like his mother, but now he is angry and doesn't like anything. I'm not the one who's calculating. Zhao Jixi said helplessly, but his father's eyes looked at him, and his voice suddenly became much weaker. This problem is not my fault. It's not my fault. You said I could manage the household when I was a child. Now you say I'm stingy. How can I reason with you? Show me how to be generous. How can I not be generous? My mother wanted to leave me a reserve to buy a house. Did I give her money? I gave her as much as she wanted. You wanted a car, so I gave you money behind my mother's back. My third and fourth sisters wanted to do business, and I invested tens of millions without saying a word. The profit was this, and the loss was mine. They said they wanted to pay back the principal, so I used the money to buy a house and then gave it back. I also thought of a way to pay back the eldest and second sisters. The money was divided according to the third and fourth sisters, and everyone got a share. No one was left out. Chapter 588, Father and Son Dispute. Jay Chou. What Zhao Jixi said was right. On the contrary, Zhao's father felt that his son was quite generous and that what he said was a bit unreasonable. But it always felt wrong. That's all you thought about. What about other people? Don't you plan to help them? Dad, don't be funny. There are a lot of people in Zhao's family, and there are also a lot of people on my mother's side. I'm willing to give everyone a little money, but I don't know how much to give. Do you think it should be given to each household, or to each family with several people? If someone has more children, should I give more? If I meet someone who can't give birth, has no children at home, marries a wife late, or is pregnant and waiting to give birth, should I give according to the existing population? Will they come to me after the child is born? Wouldn't my giving money cause conflicts for others in the end? Zhao Jixi said everything he thought. Zhao's father was also a little silent after listening. His reasoning was a little crooked, but he was telling the truth. He has been annoying his family recently. His brothers and sisters are fine. They just gossip and care about him. They didn't ask for money or borrow money. Everyone is healthy and not in trouble. They are not shameless enough to borrow money. The good people in the Zhao family are all four-face. The most annoying thing is the distant relatives. They think they are not related at all, but they come to say a few words to him. He doesn't express his attitude and is sarcastic. When he loses his temper, people say that people with money have bad tempers. What kind of thing is this? The people who came are some people from his father, that is, Zhao Jixi's grandfather's brothers. There are always exceptions among the best people, and the old Zhao family is the same. Shameless people, what can you do to them? For this matter, Zhao Jixi's grandfather even found his own children to talk. Dad and his brothers can't say much. After all, he is not their son, and it's not their money. In addition, everyone has watched Zhao Jixi grow up since he was a child. Everyone knows what kind of person he is. This is how children who are spoiled from childhood develop selfish problems. He was really lucky to have such a huge fortune. It is said that it is easy to change a country, but difficult to change one's nature. His petty and money-grubbing habits are unlikely to change much. He has not expressed his opinion to his uncles, let alone the people from other branches. If you want to make some money from him, haha, Zhao Jixi might just turn against him. When he was a child, Zhao Jixi would frown at people for small things like eating less food, taking less things, and others taking advantage of him. He is not the kind of person who takes advantage. But he can't bear to see his things less. You can't give him less. If it's not his, he won't ask you for it, as long as it's not his sister's. Now that he is older, he may not be able to change this habit. He has to think about how to repay a little bit of kindness, so that others will not feel that he has lost money, but he will not let others feel that he has earned more. Fortunately, there is a tradition of the old Zhao family, who likes to protect their shortcomings, and gave wealth to the sisters in the family, who have been giving in to him since childhood. They all knew something. The third and fourth sons were the bosses of Zhonghe, and bought houses for others. They basically didn't have to worry about anything in their lives. The eldest and second sons also did business in the province and the city. It was estimated that the capital would be returned to him, and they would also buy houses and give them to Hui. Among them, the most in line with his habit was that the money he gave was signed with receipts, saying that it was for the couple, but how could they not see the calculations in it at their age? It was not that he was mean again, calculating his brothers-in-law. If they lived a good life, then he would just ignore it. If they lived a bad life, then the man would not be able to take a penny of the money away. Maybe he would have to pay compensation. They signed a lot of documents densely. According to his principle of calculating money, they couldn't tell the truth, but they could always feel it. After all, this kid was such a person. Fortunately, his two brothers-in-law were also honest people, and their families were all kind. If you get benefits from others, you will remember their goodness. How can I not understand my brother-in-law's personality after living together for several years? He knows a little bit about those things, and he is not angry or anything like that. Isn't that a conflict with my wife's family? How can we live like this? Besides, they don't say anything nonsense when they give money. They give you benefits just to make you and your wife live a good life. His sister can't live a good life, so it's not his fault that his brother-in-law is looking for trouble. In addition, his wife is not the kind of arrogant woman. She is a woman who knows how to give her husband face. Even if the second sister can't manage the household, at least she can respect her mother-in-law and please the elderly. It makes the second brother-in-law very happy to see it. Even if he suffers a little and gets scolded by his wife behind his back, as long as his parents live happily, it doesn't matter. In addition, he really didn't suffer, but the second sister sometimes acted like a little girl, and he had to coax her. In the past, I thought that, when the work pressure and the pressure to make money are high in the future, he would be annoyed that his wife is still acting like a little girl. Now there is no need to worry. The family is rich, and there is no need to worry about getting sick and going to the hospital without money in the future. There was no pressure in my heart. Seeing my wife being so clever, I was happy, no matter how I looked at her. It was similar with my eldest sister's husband, and my eldest sister was good at managing the household. The family lived in harmony and peace. My mother-in-law and father-in-law also liked this daughter-in-law. In addition, they were all friends of Zhao's father and mother. They watched my eldest sister grow up since she was a child, and they hoped that this child would be their daughter-in-law. Later, they met on a blind date, and they also got along well, and everyone was very happy. They also knew what kind of person the brother-in-law of the old Zhou family was. They also told their son that they would take care of him when they were able to do so in the future, but who knew that now he was taking care of himself? Good deeds will be rewarded. This is what they thought in their minds at the time. As for some of the things in it, Zhao Jixi is just such a person. Whatever you say to him, it will destroy the relationship between the two families. In addition, they really didn't have any ideas, and they also remembered Zhao Jixi's goodness, so this matter did not cause any waves. Those who know Zhao Jixi as a person don't think he is a generous person. The small family structure has been throughout his past 10 years. Zhao Jixi's current awareness is the result of living for decades longer in his previous life. Compared to his previous age, his fucked up personality can really be said to have improved rapidly. Both father and son were annoyed, and Zhao's father didn't know what to do. When his father asked him to talk, he didn't come up with an idea. Now that the pressure has been put on his son, seeing that he doesn't know, and still shirks the appearance of talking tomorrow, how can he not be angry? Think of a way yourself. You caused the trouble and walked away. This is not what our Zhao family does. Think about it carefully. How many times has it been in newspapers and magazines? It's hard for people not to know. Zhao's father said, "It's been in, it's been in, it's been in." Zhao Jixi secretly swallowed his saliva. It seems impossible for his father not to know what he did outside. Zhao Jixi immediately straightened his body and responded quickly, "I'll solve it." Dad smiled secretly in his heart. It turned out that he was his biological son. This child's expression change was no worse than when he was a child. He was very perceptive. Zhao Jixi took out his phone. He called his advisory group and think tank. He explained the matter clearly and asked them to come up with a solution immediately. They responded quickly and, according to Zhao Jixi's request, referred to the national conditions of China, consulted the Chinese consultants, and handled the family incident with Chinese characteristics. They guaranteed that Zhao Jixi would not be unhappy and that he would not pay too much money. In short, everything was based on solving his father's and his mother's troubles and Zhao Jixi's troubles. It would be best if he could make money, if he did it well. Zhao Jixi said that sentence in English. His father's recent half-baked work, plus he used slang, was considered to have gotten away with it. Look, we will probably get a preliminary plan after we get home. Jess, this thing looks quite simple, Dad said with a satisfied expression. Well, it's not difficult. There are a lot of people who are paid under you. You can't let them be too idle, right? Haha. Damn it, it's easy, but you still don't do it. How long have you been dragging it on? You just dragged it on with me. You are really my good son. You go out to play by yourself, but I, your dad, stay at home. Zhou heart suddenly jumped. It's hard to prevent a thief at home. Dad, what you said is not right. Why did I leave you at home? I asked you to live in the United States for a while a long time ago, but you dragged your feet. You and my mom haven't gone yet. If you had gone earlier, how could there be so many things now? I might not be in the newspapers and magazines now. You wouldn't have all these troubles now. Or, it's my fault. How could it be? It's my fault. It's really my fault. Zhou can't pretend to be a grandson in front of his father. That's his future son's thing. Now he can only pretend to be a son. It's not easy for a biological son to pretend to be a son. It's not easy for him to live with money. Well, the whole way home was not peaceful, and he didn't know what was waiting for him at home. Now he was thinking about going back to pick up the people and quickly flying to the United States to hide. Girls watching you are watching stars, and aunts watching you are watching monkeys. Those aunts, grandpas, and uncles in the neighborhood will definitely come to watch. Fortunately, now we are in a new community and a new house. The neighbors are not the kind of people who have known each other for more than 10 years. It is normal for them to come to your house to play and eat when they have nothing to do. The car is now parked at a hotel outside the community, and several bodyguards will stay here first. Zhou is followed by Raymond, and the 2 female bodyguards who have been following Niu are also following, and there are no other redundant personnel. The car drove directly into the underground garage, which is much more convenient for him. He can just take the elevator queue in the basement, and there is no need to go anywhere else, so as to avoid another ostentatious. Chapter 859. Trial by 3 courts. I can explain. Entering the elevator and going upstairs, that floor is basically authors. There is also a security door outside the entrance garden, so dad doesn't need mom to come out to open the door. He can just press the password lock to go in. This was also installed by Zhou's security consultants. Press a certain password inside, the door can still be opened, but it can only convey the secret code to the bodyguards. It will be very convenient to call the police for rescue. The criminals can't feel it, and Zhou feels a little relieved with such a thing. When he opened the door and went in, Zhou secretly swallowed his saliva. The scene inside looked a little scary. It was a trial of 3 people. Mom moved her chair and sat in the room, and the eldest sister and second sister sat next to her respectively. When they saw him come in, they came out with a serious look on their faces. Grandma, eldest aunt and second aunt. Niu is really his close-fitting little cotton-padded jacket. This time she knew to run over and help Zhou out. Mom's stern face also relaxed. She really couldn't stand up in front of her cute granddaughter. Niu, be good and go to the room to play with Xianshan first. But, Niu wants to cook with daddy. The little girl pulled her mother's arm and shook it. She had learned the unique arm shaking skill of women without any instruction. Grandma, can we cook together? Niu, Xianshan is eating cake inside. You should go quickly, otherwise she will finish it all. Seeing that her mother's plan failed, the second sister came up with another plan. No, I want to be with daddy, Niu said, shaking her head. Well, they can't do anything when this girl is stubborn. She is not their own child, so it is impossible to beat or scold her. If they say something more serious, they can't say it. Her father is reluctant to let her go, and they, as aunts, can't say much. After all, it's not old age these days, and every child now is a treasure. It's the same for Zhou's mother. If you beat or scold her to help her son take care of the child, her son will be resentful to death behind his back. In addition, the child is also very sensible, so she can't bear to say a harsh word. Zhou secretly gave his daughter a look, which was really cute. She has the style of her father. Mom, eldest sister, second sister, they are all here. What are you doing sitting there with such a serious look? He asked casually, and he seemed to relax, as if he had nothing to do. Stand. Mom suddenly shouted in a low voice. It's not time for you to sit down yet. Zhou rolled his eyes a few times and glanced around, trying to find an ally. The second sister is obviously the easiest opponent to conquer, but now she also looks helpless and wants to make up for her mistakes. It is estimated that the matter of helping Zhao Jixi hide the newspaper was exposed before, and now she is trying to show her performance in front of her mother so that she can be treated leniently. The eldest sister feels sorry for him, but she didn't meet his eyes for a while, which clearly shows that she also has some opinions about his recent gossip. What are you looking around for? Stand up straight. I have something to ask you. The mother said directly. They can't help you today. Don't think about fooling me like this. You have to explain it to me clearly today. My dear mother, you are asking your son to explain what I said clearly. Zhao Jixi looked like he was going to play a rogue. Correct your attitude. What are you doing? The children are still here. You should be serious. The mother pulled Niu, who was laughing secretly, over to give her a positive education. Her father seemed to be unable to be relied on in positive education and leading by example, so she had to set an example for her. Niu, go play with Xianshan first. Dad and grandma will talk about some adult things. He could only have a good card in his hand. His daughter was transferred now, and it was really not suitable for her to stay here now. Dad, go. Zhao Jixi said so, and Niu went very well. She didn't cause any trouble for him. She was indeed a good and smart child. Mom, what are you going to tell me? Just tell me. You're putting on this show. It looks scary. Jay Chou wanted to play it safe again. This time, his mother really didn't waste words. As soon as his daughter came in, she stood up and pinched Jay Chou's ear and said, tell me what happened recently. Mom, we are so old. Can we not do this? Jay Chou was strong and didn't resist. Who said she was his mother? Humph. Mom just pinched him. It was indeed inappropriate for her son to do this when he was so old. After a hum, she sat down. Look at the newspapers and magazines. What are they saying? Take a good look at them. Mom took out a few newspapers, and the pictures in them were all of him and girls. The most eye-catching one was the photo of him kissing Zhang Ziyi at the airport. The angle was called a frontal shot. Even if it was taken from the front, Jay Chou and Zhang Ziyi and others could have reason to fool them. The following ones also included Zhu Jinglei, Taylor, Wu Peasy, Sunny and others, and they were all in color. Magazines, newspapers, etc. All kinds of names and all kinds of revelations. And his reputation as a playboy. These days, I really have to praise some paparazzi. The stories they write are really bloody. Can you please not mislead him like this? He carefully picked up a newspaper, which was the entertainment section of the city newspaper in his province. The middle page was all his, and on both sides were some text blocks, which wrote about what happened to the two people, and also wrote about how awesome Zhao Jixi, the overseas Chinese, was, where he was from, and that he was from there FJ, young and promising, and worthy of pride. But in terms of personal issues, there was a little discord. This was not the first one, the second, third, fourth and fifth below. He couldn't help but admit it, that, Mom, I can explain. Okay, tell me. Mom looked like she was listening attentively. This foreign girl, Taylor Swift, we only met once, and we are familiar with each other, just friends who left their phone numbers. Zhao Jixi started with the foreigner. Well, she is also an actor in this movie, Ms. Wu Peasy from Taiwan. We just exchanged some things in the circle. You know, I'm still a layman in the entertainment industry. I need to learn more. It's not that I have only met her twice, and this group of media people wrote nonsense again. They are so immoral. He had an angry expression on his face, which did not resonate with everyone, but just had an expression of go on, talk about it properly. Let's talk about this. Zhao Jixi pointed to the photo of two people kissing each other, and the woman in it was Zhang Ziyi. Mom and sisters are most concerned about this photo, and see how he can distort the picture in it. Chapter 860. Finally got it. Zhao Jixi's attention and five senses have been opened to the highest level now. The inquiring expressions of his mother and her sisters, and the gossipy and concerned expression of his father. He saw them one by one. Now everyone is waiting for him to explain. There are really thousands of thoughts on him. He can't avoid it, so he will admit it. Zhao Jixi licked his tongue, and after his dry lips were moistened, he slowly spoke. We are dating. Dating? The eldest sister asked. Dating? The second sister confirmed. You are together? With her? The mother looked surprised but a little reasonable. In short, it was that tangled. Yes, we did date. Zhao Jixi nodded. She is older than you. She is a few years older than me, but age is not an obstacle to love. Zhao Jixi. The second sister asked the eldest sister in a low voice. Jess just said that you dated. The eldest sister thought about it, and he did say so. Well, Jess started by saying that they were dating, and then he said that they had dated, so they had indeed dated. The elder sister was also a teacher level figure, even though she was no longer cultivating flowers for the motherland, and she was no longer a hard-working gardener who still earned some extra money. But she could still understand the word game. Did you break up? The elder sister asked, and after getting Zhao Jixi's affirmative nod, she immediately said to her mother, Mom, Zhao dated that female star, and then broke up, so the two of them are not related now. You don't need to go deeper into this question. There is no result. What? I just asked him what age is not an obstacle to love, and then you broke up again. The mother's mood was like riding a roller coaster. Just now, she thought Zhang Ziyi was not good enough, but when her son and daughter said they broke up, she suddenly felt that this girl seemed not bad. She could make money and take care of people, and she was a good choice. Well, we broke up. You haven't seen her studio. They all say that we have no relationship. It's just pure friendship and a simple relationship between friends. Why did you break up, kid? Is it because of the woman above? Mom suddenly realized something. The newspapers and magazines all had a magical explanation. She applied it to them, and it seemed to be connected. Zhao Jixi also saw some of the content written on these harmful gossip reporters. It was really boring, but this made him suffer again. As for me, this is it. Zhao Jixi held the magazine, which contained the gossip between him and Zhu Jinglei. She and I are just partners. She made this movie, and I'm also one of the investors. It's not that simple. Look at what is written on it. It's well-founded. You told me that you are partners. What does it mean? It's not just one company that wrote this. Look at this, and this. They all wrote it. Mom was telling him the facts and reasoning, but this fact was too absurd. When did gossip become a fact? We are hyping it up, creating something that everyone is interested in, and raising the attention of ordinary people to this movie. Then everyone can go to the theater to watch the movie, which will increase the box office potential. Jay Chou made up a lot of stories, and he became more and more proficient. Hype, you said these things are all fake? Asked his mother. Well, a lot of what is written here is fake. There are many magazine and newspaper reports in it. We paid the public relations fee, and the reporters also paid the writing fee. Otherwise, who would have the time to write about you, and write so deeply, like a story? This is to arouse everyone's curiosity. The more curious the better. He said it seriously. My mother and sisters were a little shaken, and my father looked at the newspaper and began to doubt that the content was written by someone who spent a lot of money on writing. This child actually made up such a thing. In these days, it's all about doing business, and economic development comes first. China now recognizes this, and the capitalist empire in the United States is even more so. The father of a friend of mine, Donald Trump, has also done something even more powerful, promoting himself everywhere. He has published books, appeared on TV, and made reality shows. He also named his industries after himself. This is really using hype to the extreme, and he has won billions of dollars now. He is getting smoother and smoother with his stories. He has a lot of tricks when he says these things, and he has initially fooled his parents. What are you going to do about Zhu Ye? Mom is going to ignore Zhao Jixi's seemingly messy private life and ask him what his attitude is. We don't have anything to do. What can I do? Zhao Jixi has been talking more and more relaxed, and he slowly walked to his mother's side. We are just introduced by you. I also went to meet her and chatted with her. It's only been a short time. We are just getting to know each other, and there is no intention of further development. She doesn't need to be responsible for me, and I don't need to be responsible for her even more. Plus, I don't want to get married so soon with such a wife. I'm only a few years old, and the good days are just the beginning. So, neither of us has any intention of developing anything now. If you don't have any intention of developing anything, what are you talking about with her? How can you continue the conversation? We were talking about business. She said she was in real estate. I invested in real estate with Shuang and a few other friends in Korea with a total value of more than 100 million US dollars. I need to know more about this. There are also many sales methods worth learning from. Investment in Korea. What did you do there? In the past 2 years, the economic crisis has threatened many people. A man in Korea went bankrupt, and the real estate he developed became an unfinished building. A friend has some connections there, and after discussing with the government, we took it over. My mother looked worried because of the large amount of money. Zhou Jixi smiled confidently. We invested together. I invested tens of millions of dollars. It seems that the capital has been earned back a long time ago, and I have made more than $100 million in profit. Haha. Several people were already shocked, and their hearts were pounding with excitement. Looking at Zhou Jixi, they felt a little dreamy. The profit from real estate is really terrible. Yeah, I don't know how much money the black-hearted real estate developer made from buying this house. It's really abominable. My mother has hoarded a lot of houses recently, and she started to feel distressed again. Zhou Jixi was really relieved, and finally changed the topic. Chapter 861, The Welfare Issues of the Zhou and Li Families. Zhou Jixi diverted the topic by using business and money. When it comes to money, his mother can't help herself. Of course, it's only about her son's money, especially when it comes to houses. She is even more curious. Mom, your son has hundreds of houses in Korea, which are nothing. I kept a few for myself. If you like it, I will transfer a few to your name, so that I can have a foundation. That's okay. Your limited liability company has everything. I heard that if something happens, and you have no money in the future, although I can't pay you back directly, I can still help you support your children and wife. Mom, if your son is so miserable that he has to file for bankruptcy, that's basically possible. Zhou Jixi certainly knew what his mother meant. If he goes bankrupt, he goes bankrupt. There's nothing wrong with that. You're such a jinx. Don't talk nonsense. Mom said nervously. PFFT. Children should not be afraid of what they say. Children should not be afraid of what they say. She even spat twice as she spoke. You should also recite the same words. This kid is really something. This is also a manifestation of love from mom, who is a little superstitious, and he is a little superstitious too. So Zhou certainly had reason to agree. Okay, I'm a child and I should not be afraid of what I say. God should not blame me. PFFT. I'll ask someone to get some documents over, and you just need to sign them. Zhou looked at her and said, that's fine. Mom was thinking about her son, so she agreed without any pressure. After you go to the United States, if you come back, go to Korea with my dad for a vacation, when you have time. The weather and air there are good, and the seafood is fresh. It's a good place. Zhou was now relaxed, able to sit on the sofa and chat with his mom, without having to stand and be interrogated. Maybe it's like they are on their honeymoon, trying to find the feeling of their youth. You're so frivolous. The mother felt a little embarrassed to say that to her son. She rolled her eyes at him, and felt a little restless, so she stood up and said, you guys sit down, I'll get you some food. Raymond is still waiting outside? Call him in to eat together. Okay, then I'll call him in. Zhou Jixi saw that his mother finally returned to normal, and made a victory gesture in his heart. The mother went to work, the second sister gave him a "you're awesome," and the eldest sister rolled her eyes at him. Zhou Jixi raised his eyebrows with a very proud expression. You guys are busy today. How is the brand store recently? Your brother-in-law is busy. The business is okay, and it's stable now, but we still have to do more promotion and advertising. As a big boss, you have to support us agents more. The second sister talked about this with a look on her face that said she was short of money and asked for help. Don't worry, I've already arranged a few things, and the popularity will only increase. I'm also discussing advertising placement with several movie and TV production companies in the capital. You'll see our brand in all the TV shows and movies. Will you show those TV shows shot by Zhou Bao Gang? The eldest sister asked curiously. Of course we will. We'll sponsor them for a few million, and the protagonists will wear our brand stuff, bags, clothes, shoes, etc., which are all basic. If the contract is a little bit more serious, we'll ask them to say a few good words about us. talk about the topic of Angry Birds, and even do game ads at the same time. After Zhou Jixi finished talking to the eldest sister, he saw that the second sister wanted to say something too. He immediately interrupted. Stop, I know what you want to say. Korean drama, right? Jess, you still know me. The second sister looked like she knew me. Of course I want Korean dramas. They are cheap and cost effective. Although there are no TV stations in China that broadcast them, they are very popular on the internet. How can I not do product placement? Recently, a partner, the one from Jinxie Mall, I also introduced them to do product placement in Korean TV dramas. We will work together with the agents in Korea to do it as a whole. Great, Jess. No wonder you can be on Forbes. Your brain is better than mine. Who said it wasn't? He was proud. You are so young. Don't be arrogant or impatient. Dad must have listened with his ears perked up just now, and now he can even educate Jay Chow. The second sister stuck out her tongue in front of Jay Chow. Wow, at how old he is, he still makes such an expression and pretends to be cute. It's really a bit confusing. Mom made food, and the two sisters had almost finished chatting with him, so they followed in to help. Dad sat with him in the living room, waiting for the think tank to send him what he asked for. After Niu played with Xianshan for a while, she quietly opened the door with her sister and watched from the other side. Zhou Jixi saw them and waved to his daughter and niece to come over. He was in the mood to play with the children. Mom was just a lot of noise but little action, and Dad was almost the same. After all, he was their biological son, so he just said a few words to let him know. They were mother and son, and there was no way they would have any complaints or blame each other. The eldest and second sisters brought out the dishes one by one, and he was hungry when he smelled the fragrance. If it was before, he would have gone over to take a bite, but now he had to be more cautious. The phone rang, and Zhou Jixi took it out to take a look. It was a text message from Alina. She said that the file had been sent to his mailbox. This was just a preliminary version. He would take a look first. If there were any requirements, he could mark them in it. They were slowly changing them. He took out his tablet computer, which could be used to access the internet at any time. He had a network mobile terminal with him, just like the 4G mobile terminal a few years later, which could connect the tablet to Wi-Fi at any time. He also set up encryption to ensure the security of his files. It is very unsafe to access other people's wireless networks at will. Almost anything you transmit can be obtained by others, because after the transmission, a copy will be cached outside. Although it will be deleted, it takes time. If someone is watching you, it will be transparent. His family in China uses ordinary network, and now his mailbox and other things must be encrypted. The internet age seems safe, but in fact it is a paradise for high IQ criminals. People like Zhou Jixi have many secrets, so how can he not ensure the security of his network? Dad, the first version of the document is ready. Do you want to take a look? Zhou Jixi opened it and looked at it and called his father. Yes, I'll take a look too. Dad put down the newspaper and said. Zhou Jixi walked over and sat next to him. He showed him what was written in the bilingual version in Chinese and English, so of course he could understand it. They are just writing the most basic guarantee now. It provides some guarantees for our two families for the two current problems in China. Zhou Jixi pointed to the key content of the document and explained. One is medical insurance, and the other is student aid. It's like our two families' medical insurance funds and scholarships. I think they have a good idea. Medical expenses are a big problem in China now. People don't dare to go to the hospital when they are sick because the fees are too high. But the United States is not much better. They have insurance there, but you have to make an appointment. It takes 1 or 2 months to wait for a reservation, and sometimes half a year. I'm a little off topic. Let's talk about this. Zhou Jixi always likes to go off topic when he speaks. Zhao's father looked at him, and he immediately came back and said, medical insurance is for medical treatment, so that our two families don't have to worry. Let them pay a certain fee every year. Are you going to charge money? Dad looked up and interrupted him, looking at him and said, of course. Zhou Jixi will not compromise. This is a matter of principle. If I don't charge money, do I have to spend money to protect them for their whole lives and to protect their sons, grandsons, great-grandsons, and great-great-grandsons, and their descendants are endless? I'm carrying a burden myself, and I want my son and grandson to carry it with me. And if their wife's family suddenly gets sick, and they cry and work hard without money, do they also want me to pay for the treatment? If I don't do it, will I be hated? Once a gap is opened, do I have to take over the people and their family? I won't do such a stupid thing. If you want to do it, then do it yourself, but don't expect me to pay. He said this very seriously. The think tank just explained it this way. After a few generations, Zhou family will be responsible for the medical insurance of tens of thousands of people. How rich were European nobles in the past, but now they can't even carry castles and have no spare money. Why should they support those people? Seeing Zhou's tough attitude, the father knew that this matter could not be discussed. Especially this is related to his grandsons and great-grandsons in the future, so he really has to do what his son said. He said in a muffled voice, "Go on." According to the advice given to me by the think tank, combined with my own ideas. That is, I will take out a little money from my own company every year and donate it, invest it, and put it into this foundation. We can discuss the name. The best plan is to donate it in the name of charity, and it can also help me offset part of the tax. We will go over this first and discuss it. Only when there is money in the foundation can it have sufficient vitality and can continue to operate. And they are just like paying insurance premiums. How much membership fee should be paid every year, and how much is the appropriate amount of money? We still need to discuss how much. After paying, you can enjoy the care of the foundation. It's best not to accept it. I can save money. In this way, we can set a threshold and get some money for the foundation. No matter how small a mosquito is, it is still a piece of meat. Of course, the foundation will be operated in the future, and making money is the best. However, if the operation is not good, the foundation will go bankrupt directly, and that will be none of my business. If it goes bankrupt, won't the Zhou family be hated in the future? Dad considered it very comprehensively. This makes sense. Just like the 8 banners of the Qing dynasty, when you enjoy the benefits, you feel that you are superior to others. But if you deprive them of the benefits, they will not remember who gave them to you, but will only resent you for depriving them. Humans are just such animals. Don't expect them to be good. Zhou doesn't believe in human nature as good, he believes in human nature as evil. Chapter 862 My daughter's child. Zhou had to admit that he didn't want to pay the money. In his opinion, everyone seemed to be no different from passers-by except for a surname and an ancestor. If he paid a little money, would they come and lick his ass? It's not that poor that they need to sell their dignity. Everyone still has a face. Those who really come to bother his parents are probably shameless or really in trouble. It's just that there are ways to distinguish, but it's a bit costly. He is not the government. He still has to verify what happened to someone and consider whether to borrow money from them. To be honest, if his uncles asked him, Zhou would definitely have nothing to say. As long as the amount is reasonable, he would give the money directly without saying anything. Relatives from other branches are really reluctant. Dad did have some concerns, but that was based on Zhou's worst plan. He always likes to plan for failure before planning for victory. Only after making the worst plan for things can he slowly think about it in a good direction, especially about things like human nature. What you said does make sense, but that's the worst case scenario. I calculated it carefully. In fact, as long as we limit the number of people, the number of cases, and the application conditions, and focus on emergency insurance, and if the seriously ill cannot afford it, and there is no surgery fee, then we don't need to pay much. One person pays a few hundred yuan a year, 10 people will pay a few thousand yuan, and dozens or hundreds of people will pay tens of thousands of yuan a year. It's a small piece of meat, and it doesn't matter if you don't pay, but I can't get over it. Why don't you pay and think about my kindness? I still have to pay for your medical treatment. As for you, don't say I'm stingy. I've been like this since I was a child. Of course I can be generous, but it depends on what the matter is, right? Zhou said, looking at his father. We can't say that we have money and spend it however we want. without any planning and investment. It's like eating up all the money. You really don't want me, your son, to become that kind of person? Zhou Jixi said, looking at his father's expression, and immediately said, I know you don't mean that. I'm just telling you my thoughts. You, listen to them too. I've been away a lot for a while, and we haven't really talked much. Father Zhou looked at his son, mixed with the breath of youth, cynical, but still a little calm. This is his son, familiar with the strange. Of course he was happy that his son thought so, and his current achievements were indeed as he said. According to the reports in the newspaper, he has not bought a luxury house or a luxury car, just a villa near the school and a few not expensive cars. Compared with those prodigal sons in China, his son is considered very good. These are things that even the American media admit. So he also said with relief, since you have an idea, then tell me about it. Zhou Jixi was a little surprised by his father's expression, but he still continued, I won't say anything else, just talk about those who won the lottery. They have so much money, but there are really few who have a good result, and many people don't have a good end. The money I got at the beginning was almost the same as the lottery. It is because of the results of these people that I was reminded, so I invested and started a business. I can't make myself the kind of person who spends money without purpose when I have money, and I can't do things that are good for others but not for myself just for vanity. What do you think? You have an idea, that's right. Let's not talk about whether it's right or not, but you can summarize experience from others, which is indeed a good thing. This was a rare compliment from his father after he came back this time, and he looked like he was comforting himself. In fact, he always felt that if his son didn't have that stingy problem, he would be much more perfect. Unfortunately, no one is perfect, and I still have a lot of problems. Now that his son thinks about it, he is actually a very good person. Let's talk about this matter now. You see, a major surgery plus the recovery after the surgery will cost hundreds of thousands of yuan. For serious diseases such as cancer and leukemia, according to the RMB exchange rate, I invest $1 million a year, which is more than 7 million in celestial currency. Is this enough? Zhao's father nodded. This amount of money is indeed enough for many people to see a doctor. In addition, there are restrictions, so it can indeed be used for a longer time, and it is still increasing every year. Dad, listen to me. If it's appropriate, you can discuss it with my grandfather and several uncles to see what to do. However, I will of course treat our uncles differently, you can rest assured. Not to mention anything else. As for the medical insurance, no matter how much, we can provide them with it. There is also a student fund. As long as my cousins want to go to school outside and provide a true transcript every year, I will sponsor them to study abroad for free. They can go anywhere they want. But let me say this in advance, I give them money so that they can study. If they really want to play over there, they'd better come back quickly and don't use my money to find women. Otherwise I'd like to become a pimp. What are you talking about? Speak nicely. Be serious, you're old enough. Dad frowned at the last sentence. Haha. I made a wrong analogy, but that's what I mean. If you want to study and study abroad, I can help you, but you have to really learn something and achieve results. That's right, you are right. There are too many temptations abroad. You ask them to do this for their own good. If they really don't learn well, it will harm them. Then you should bring them back as soon as possible. Zhao's father also agreed with his son. Now that we have taken care of these two, there is really no need to worry about the others. One is for the future, and the other is for the present. I have given all that I can. Well, your approach is good. I can talk to your grandfather about it. After we talk about these two, the remaining ones are house and career. The house is related to money, and money is related to career. Career is ultimately related to money. It's a cycle. If you have money, of course it's good. You can have both. But without money, you can basically get neither. Entrepreneurship fund. This is another thing my team has proposed, and the other is house. However, those people are not from the same city as us. Some are from the county, and some are from the countryside. After all, I can't give them houses for free. Can't you just stop wasting time and say a few words first? Dad was also annoyed by Zhou Jixi's procrastination and stinginess. He was always talking about such a small amount of money. Well, if it was a house, the amount would be a bit large. Don't rush me. Listen to me first. The startup fund is used to give them the opportunity to buy a house independently. Look at this. It's already said above. Relatives, please come up with an investment plan. Our professional team will review it to see if there is potential. Zhou held the tablet and explained it to his father with some ideas. If he came by himself, he would probably think of a way to take his relatives to do some business, or let them do things downstream of his own business, which would be considered as helping them. However, these things obviously need to be taken up by his uncles and cousins first. Those relatives beyond 3 generations will be in the queue later. How can they be helped so quickly? People have their relatives, and he is no exception. These things are actually the most annoying to him. It's just that this time it was forced by his father that he imagined what to do. Before, when he helped his sister and the others, he felt that there were many things to think about. He hasn't figured out what to do with his parents' brothers and sisters. Now it's the uncles, and they haven't had a turn yet. Those people outside came first. Even he had to sigh these days. It is true that the crying child gets the milk. Zhou is now forced to milk them. This matter is really a bit unhappy. Come over to eat. What are you still talking about over there? Mom has almost cooked everything now, and after serving the last few dishes, she called to the 2 people who usually sat down to eat. Today is really strange. His son usually smells the fragrance of food at home, and he must come out first to taste it and steal a few bites to satisfy his appetite. His father is almost the same. Sometimes when there are dishes on the table, he picks up a few chopsticks from time to time. Regardless of whether there is wine or not, Zhou's habit of eating vegetables is probably passed down from his father. The eldest sister and the second sister also served the remaining dishes, and the father went to take out the wine at home, and later he would have a few drinks with his son. The anger from returning from the airport, and the relief now. Suddenly he realized that after his son became rich, he really didn't understand his current thoughts. I only remember that he became rich, but he only helped a few daughters in the family, and he didn't ask for help from others. He looked stingy. But I didn't expect that my son was also working hard outside to make money and build his own career. Now he still owes money to the bank. Most of his assets are in the stock market, and he continues to invest in industry. Dad Zhou is not very good at expressing the father-son relationship, but it is a good thing to have a little wine with his children at the dinner table. The second sister went into the room to call the children who were still playing. Xianshan didn't go to school today, and Niu didn't mean to go to school either. It was just right for them to play together. Zhou also saw a little fat boy coming out of the room, and there were 2 other children. He was talking and laughing with his daughter. He was probably her new friend here. It seems that my daughter is pretty good. She made friends so quickly in China. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.